Why not? That is a very good question. To be honest with you, I think that I had the wrong reason to both vote and not vote for both candidates.
You plan on voting
if you're talking about president wise, at least.
Do you plan on voting during the midterms?
Honestly, probably not. If I had to be honest with you.
No vote, no voice. Ray Paul, you had a lot to say. Can you please have your age, your state, and your
Yeah, I was wondering if anybody under here has a body mass index of less than 30. Y'all sound pretty heavyset and windy.
I would like you to answer my questions, and anybody
hey, fat bitch, you sound windy.
Excuse me, anybody who comes with personal attacks has to cam up. So why don't you just go ahead and cam up?
Here, cheeks.
Answer the fucking question.
Those chubby cheeks.
I can hear your little peen.
You look like Gonzo who got over.
It even smells fucking. Hold on,
you fat fuck. Look at you.
Your little peen even smells like it. Let me guess. Let me guess. Hold on. Let me guess the color. It's salmon pink. With a few little orange hairs on it, right?
Lobster
red. That's what you answer the question, you worthlessly ignorant fuck. Your name, your age, and the state who you voted for. Are you too stupid? Are you too dumb to answer it?
No, I couldn't understand you. Saw it as a bit of a list.
I can't understand you.
A little bit of a list.
You know what? Okay. Are you going to answer the questions or not? Age, state, and who you voted for.
When's the last time you walked a mile, fat ass?
Condition. Oh, well, she thought giving you the belt was a good idea, so didn't make it worse. No, I actually like to laugh about it like that because I'm like, oh yeah, she hit me with a belt. She's gone.
Yes, spanking children is abuse, Tej. Spanking children is abuse.
Can I have your age and pronouns?
Age and pronoun, 35 and male.
That's not a pronoun. Okay.
Well, can you help me understand?
So we're gonna play a little game, okay?
I got my buzzer. Hold up.
Can you be respectful a little bit? You don't know anything about me, and you're being a little bit.
Okay, let me talk, guys. So I'm gonna be the buzzer. So we're gonna play a little game. You're going to choose a. No, I'm not. You're going to choose a prompt on the screen, and then you're going to explain why you agree or disagree. And every time you say a pronoun, I will mute you, and then I will play a very loud, incorrect buzzer sound. Okay, are you ready? Go ahead. So what do you disagree with on the prompt?
Well, I don't understand the game. Can you?
That's a pronoun, babes. Continue. Without using pronouns this time.
Well, I understand what a pronoun is.
That's a pronoun, babe.
Is this the revolution in action here? Is this how you're going to overthrow the system with pronouns?
Pronoun. Continue without using pronouns this time, babes. So what do you disagree with on the prompt?
Well, I'm trying to understand what you're trying to get at first.
That's a pronoun, babes. Survey. Continue without using a pronoun this time. Go ahead, babes.
Okay, let's see. Let's pick one of these. Let's see. 18. I'm reading the bottom first. My bad.
That's a pronoun.
Oh, now you sound like you're having chronic diarrhea.
Well, I'm glad I can make you females laugh. I'm not sure what.
I'm not a female. I'm a man.
I'm
Sorry,
a man.
darling.
I'm a male. I don't get into that mentally ill stuff. Anyways.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I don't understand what the.
That's a pronoun.
It's a pronoun.
It's
I'm
a
Australian too, by the
pronoun.
way. I have family in Tasmania.
I'm not Australian.
I is a pronoun, sir.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
TJ, nothing is wrong with pronouns. It's the fact that people refuse to use them. So I love to do that little game just to piss them off. Also, I really need a piss.
Go piss. Go piss. Go piss.
I'm too tired.
You used a pronoun, Velvet.
Yeah, but I'm not saying I don't use pronouns.
I know. I'm sorry. I had to.
Have to be morally wrong.
I don't even think you understand what morals is. How can you claim that it is right?
I think you're conflating two different
I am
issues.
definitely not. I promise you. I've had way too many of these conversations. I know exactly. So let me ask you a simple question. How can you determine whether or not it is right or wrong, good or bad, to deport people who are on government assistance without using morality?
What? Without using morality? Isn't
Yes,
that your whole?
correct.
Isn't that what you've been hung up on the whole time?
I'm asking you that question. Yes. How is it possible to determine whether it is right or wrong or good or bad to deport somebody without morality? Yes.
Because, like I had mentioned, like if you're taking more from the state, if you are a net negative, which isn't everybody, but if you are a net negative, if you've been here for a short amount of time and you came here to capitalize in the past like 4 years, if you don't have legal status, the United States border policy to protect us from not only criminals, but from
like over 100 lawsuits against it. It's the P320.
No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, no, you're not familiar with this.
Ask this person something real quick. I just got to talk to my wife real quick. Hang on.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, let me find a microphone. I don't even know where the microphone is. Thing is down here.
Yeah, I'm here, by the way.
Where the heck is my microphone?
I heard you on mute for a second. I thought you muted. Your lips were moving and you weren't making noise for a second. I thought. There you go. SV,
You're
what's
muted.
up? Yeah, he's
Yeah,
trying to talk to us right now. Shit.
No, you're all good. All right.
Are you familiar with the SIG P320, all the lawsuits against it and shit?
I heard about it. I used to watch a lot of like ex-military guy channels and stuff, and they used to talk about it a lot. So I saw that. Yeah.
All right. Fucking that's what that Alex dude was carrying when that dude reached in and grabbed that shit from him. That's what that guy grabbed.
Yeah. Well, the most interesting video is the one that happened, like, I guess right before that, where he's like screaming and spitting at people, allegedly, you know, before they.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's just insane. Like it's just like the summer of love all over again. I gotta love it, you know. It's like I'm seeing all the love in the street, you know, like
dude, the rhetoric this time on social media is outrageous, dude. There are Karens out here talking about it's only a matter of times before we have to take up arms and shit, dude.
They're trying to do
the next, and it's just like, what the?
They're trying to do a 1917
about?
to America right now, or at least they're trying to appear as if that's the case. I don't know,
but there's really not enough of them. If you look at what's going on, it's in concentrated areas only. It's only in concentrated areas.
Right.
You mean? And they only have a certain amount of people, blue and purple hair.
Well,
wait till Trump authorizes somebody like us, makes the stipulation where, hey, you can do anything you want within the vicinity of yourself and protect yourself. You watch, dude. If it broke it, dude, all he would have to do is that.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, I think it's a dangerous situation no matter what you do because, and I don't mean towards you guys. I'm just saying in general, like the situation's bad because like even the 1917 Russian Revolution, right? Like, was it really about the proletariat doing an overthrow, or was it about foreign powers sending in people to overthrow something? So I'll be a little technical for a second just to make a point because I think it's important. Like, what's interesting is that all these people are basically saying like Trotskyist propaganda. They're like, we need international borderless countries all around the world, and it's like, well, okay, so you want to abolish all nationalism worldwide, so you're a Trotskyist, and then you ask them that, they say, oh, I'm not a Trotskyist. And then I'm like, okay, but you guys say that you don't like that one nation over there, Izzy, that we can't talk about. And I'm like, so do you want Palestine to have borders? And they're like, yes. Or they just don't answer at all. And so it's like they just have this like weird like cognitive dissonance where like all their stuff doesn't make any sense. It's like all white people are bad, but then it's like mostly white people saying that. And then if you really look, a lot of the people making all these points, they're definitely getting paid by like very rich people to say these things. So it's like, if rich people are paying you to say these things and you're against the rich, like what's really happening? And so it's just bizarre. I don't know how to explain it,
Welcome to the Twilight Zone.
Dude, do any of you guys like going swimming in the ocean?
Oh yeah.
I like to, but it's definitely scary. Very scary for sure.
No, it is creepy though, knowing that a shark I'm like watching this dude on a surfboard. It was like 10 years ago when they caught him when he was like a surfing competition. Remember that? And that great white came up to him.
Oh yeah. He got that pretty good.
Think about a fucking shark that could eat you whole. No, I think he like kicked him with his leg or something like that. And fuck him, dude. But could you imagine something that could eat you whole?
Well, that's
I've
kind
been
of
on
how
the
this
Outer Banks
whole
before, like right before a hurricane, and like some storms were coming in, and they like red flagged all the beaches, and I wasn't allowed to go out in the water unless I had my fins on and I had my leash with my board. Or they were like,
I used to do boogie boarding.
And I was only out there with you weren't allowed in the water on the boogie board without the fins and the leash.
But when I was young, I didn't think about shit like that, dude. When I grew up in Vegas, I used to ride a bike in Vegas. You go to Lake Mead. It's outside Las Vegas, but Boulder. You go to Lake Mead and shit. And we would ride our bikes off the cliffs. We'd put foam on it, and you fucking ride the bike and fucking throw the bike, I couldn't do no backflips or that wasn't that skilled.
Early foam pit type shit.
Oh yeah, dude. It was fucking. We would take these old fucking BMX bikes we had and shit, and fucking put foam on them and shit, and just ride them off the cliffs, and then fucking swim it back to shore. But there'd be fish sucking on your toes, dude. Those Lake Mead fish, they fucking suck your toes.
That's fucked up.
That sounds like white
supremacy
weird to me. I'm just kidding.
Dude, yeah, my algorithm sucks, dude. It's bad. It's horrible.
What's this Democrats for Trump thing? Because I've been seeing the opposite, where it's like Republicans for Newsom or something like that. I don't know if you guys have been seeing this, but I'm interested. I've never heard of Democrats for Trump.
Yeah, I mean,
it's pretty interesting.
I mean, what is Tulsi Gabbard? Is she a Democrat for Trump? Is RFK Elon Musk? Shit, Donald Trump. He's going against the big corporations, buying up all the single family homes. He's saving, the working man overtime money, the working woman or tip earner, man or woman, $25,000 on tips, no tax, and that's retroactive. That's all like Democrat shit. He had a hard time getting Republicans to agree to it. So, I think Trump's a Democrat.
Yeah, well, it's weird because like literally the Groypers seem to be like heavily promoting Newsom, and I'm somewhat ambivalent to it, except for that it's just bizarre. Like I just don't understand. I mean,
those kids will
I
fade
do
out,
understand, but it doesn't make it better.
Don't even pay attention to the Fuentes kids. They'll fade away. They're not important.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
they're important because they're
this.
young. They're younger versions of us, though. They just feel represented, and like I feel bad.
Hang on. Yeah, but hang on. Think about this. Think about like Nick Fuentes. Okay, and let's just say the connections with Democrats in Hollywood and social media and stuff, and he's up and coming, and let's say he gets some fucking contracts for here and there because he says some fucking pro Newsom shit. I mean, like, I think media is fake. People, when they start getting fame, look at just regular people on TikTok, like all of us. We all know somebody on TikTok that's flipped out and cares about the views so much that they don't care about the actual news of what's going on. I care about the news and what's going on. I really don't get caught up too much into that other shit, you know?
I'm looking at the voter registration trends right now.
Yeah.
And Grok says that from 2020 to 2024 and into 2025, Democrats have lost ground on voter registration in every state in 30 that track it 30 states, where that accounts for about 4.5 million voters overall. And I have seen moderates on X being like, I will never vote Democrat.
But just
again,
because
the
media will throw in your face that all I'm seeing is, you know, Republicans for Harris or Republicans for Newsom or something. First time you've seen a Democrat for Trump. That doesn't play in the actual stats, though. The actual stats or the base, Donald Trump's base, is over 90% for the Republican Party. Okay, the Democrat base, and he's a lame duck president right now. Okay, but the Democrat base, they're like 30%, dude. They're at an all-time low. How could you believe the narrative that you see on the fucking news or social media, even? You know. You think the morale for Democrats is doing good?
Hell no.
I mean, I don't. If anybody believes that, they fucking really don't know what they're talking about.
Well,
the radical move. I think sometimes they think they're doing good when the more they're a little bit radical. I think the Summer of Love and the whole Antifa thing makes them feel like they're doing well politically, and I think it's having the opposite effect. America's sick of that shit, dude.
Well, that's kind of why I'm a big fan of what's happening, though, because like if it is as we perceive it, like they're actually destroying leftism in America. And again, like here's the thing is like I'm honestly like not saying that all of leftism is 100% bad. I think a lot of the analysis of the problems,
the corruption is bad. It's not even left, right.
Yeah,
we all have different opinions. Like do I like that my electric car doesn't fucking spew out all that nasty shit? Yeah, it's kind of cool, but do I want government enforcing it? I would rather it just have that cool factor and stop all this regulation bullshit and let the free enterprise do its thing. You know what I mean? Because big oil has been a big part of suppressing electric cars too. It's not a one-way street.
Well, and they're heavily involved in the green energy movement too. And this is the thing is like they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. And this is the thing is like, you know,
but big oil.
They're really.
Hang on. Yeah. On the flip side, big oil has suppressed electric cars since like 1920, dude. Like electric cars were actually the first ones, really. You know, electric fucking trams, electric cars, and big oil kind of just unalive that. So if you think about it, it really was government being involved in fucking suppressing the electric car too. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. See, it's so hard to see. We're in such a weird situation because, you know, obviously the idea of like, so like obviously Europeans were fighting for thousands of years, and now we're in a situation where supposedly we're ruling the world, you know, and we're told that like we're the end all be all, and we're like, we don't really feel that way, and everyone's like, no, it's true. And then it's like, okay, well, everybody wants to come live with us, but then they're told to hate us because of the way we live our lives, and then we're like trying to hang on to it seemingly for the benefit of everybody who enjoys it, right? So,
but of course, but if you're in North Korea and they're telling you to hate America because, you know, we're the enemy and all the propaganda that they play for them, that's because those people don't have the right to put their own propaganda out there.
Well, and here's the thing is like North Korea is like 100% North Koreans, right? And then it's like, then we're told that like we're the bad guys, and it's like, well, we're not 100% European, even not much less German or English or
we're the most
Scottish
diverse country in the world. We're the most diverse country in the world.
Right. Well, and here's what's crazy is like all these people in the street are out here saying like, well, here's the talking point that I'm seeing, and I've heard this for years, but like I've never seen it so in your face where they're like, you know, there's no illegal on stolen land. It's like, okay. And so then they're like, well, the land is stolen. So what we need to do is bring everyone in the world here to this magic dirt and it'll make everybody free. And it's like, how's that going to work? Right. Like, I don't understand. You know, it's like we just bring the empire down and then we just squat on this land and make it like Native American
So-
land. It's like, so the whole world's Native American now. It's bizarre. It's like a cult or something. I don't know.
Well, so we innovate and we have more companies in the United States, more factories, stuff like that. We're going to need more immigration anyway. It's going to naturally happen because we're going to be so big. But right now, AI is taking a lot of jobs too. So we need to compensate. We need to build first, so that way we can actually have more immigration policies. It will happen naturally because if you own some big company and you can have it some more cheap, you can't find American workers. You're going to, request your government to allow more workers to come over, but legally through a process, and which is beneficial for Americans, is beneficial for immigrants. They don't want that. They don't want to fix the issues because they run on the issues.
Well, I agree to a degree.
Skid Row.
Well, I agree to a degree, but here's the flip side of that, right? Like I have kind of, so this is going to sound like it's coming out of nowhere and I'm trolling, but I'm really not. So for example, right, like if Americans of any color were having like healthy, productive 3.5 to 4.5 children on average, like America wouldn't really need any immigration, if any, right? Now, again, I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying like we would be self-sustaining.
You're a groiper, aren't you?
I'm not really. I mean, I think Nick Fuentes says
I knew
some,
it.
like,
I knew. I could tell, but I could just.
No,
tell.
I'm really.
I don't care.
No, I'm not. I'm an older guy, so I'm not really. Honestly,
Well,
I didn't
know,
like
but-
him until the last year.
I
but-
walked away for 2 minutes and I come back and you're like, "You're a groiper, aren't you?" And he's like, "Yeah."
No, I
like
get it.
something- something."
No, I don't. It doesn't
He's
bother
like
me
kind of.
except
He's
for
like
like when
kind
he's
of.
crazy.
He's like kind of.
No,
Just a little bit.
I think his talking points are good, but honestly, I was saying the things that he's saying now 10 years ago. So like honestly, it feels more like he's ripping off.
But I mean,
a lot of
I
people
mean-
who've been into this for a while. So
Yeah, but just change people's
Yeah.
behavior. You want people to have more kids, so there's more white babies. Dude, just fucking,
well, not even
have-
white. No. I'm not even near. No, here I'm saying like we should get the big booty Latinas or Asians or whatever else. Like it doesn't matter for a guy. It doesn't
Big
really
booty
matter. It's
Latinas.
like we want, and I'm being
He's
facetious. But I'm
funny.
saying,
I
like,
think his quirkiness is what appeals to this younger generation, and the fact that he critiques problems and he sees the situations in a way
Yeah.
that's familiar to the younger generation, so he critiques them well, but he doesn't really give them an answer. He tells them to get on the internet and troll and steal my Pepe the
Well,
frog and make it a groiper.
Yeah.
Piss me
I
off.
see. I don't know how old you guys are. We're probably all about the same age. So like, I'm not
I'm 40.
talking down to you. But yeah, I'm about the same age. So I think it's like, it's one of these things where I just look at it from a point of view of like, how deep are we in it? And honestly, we're a lot deeper than people want to admit. But I also don't want to black pill people. So like, I think that the good thing I think is that people don't feel hopeless. The bad thing is that
I'm
they
just gonna
feel
hide for a second.
overconfident, right? No, you're good.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
just saying like that there's a balance to be struck, right? Like honestly, like if I were to be honest about everything that I know going on, it would be blackpilling. But I don't want to do that to people, especially young guys, and tell them like it's hopeless, right? Because that's not good. Like I want to tell them like get married, have kids, and like believe that there's a future, even though honestly it's doubtful. You know what I mean? But
See, I'm an optimist. I think we wouldn't be moving through this power shift, and we wouldn't be seeing if we were just going to be in the same system and things weren't going to get a little bit better, we wouldn't be seeing like a little bit of revolution all over the world. We wouldn't be seeing economic systems shifting. We wouldn't see some global
somebody tag
powers
DJ.
really looking all weird at each other and shit.
well,
That's
see, I
funny as
agree,
fuck.
and I think
I'm an
like
optimist.
Here's DJ's.
well-
Here's DJ's real face. Somebody tag him. Sorry.
yeah, you're good. I don't know who this is, but it's funny. But no, I think it's one of these things like I'm trying to figure out what's really going on, and like I don't really say much on here just because I don't want the quote unquote enemy listening to what we're saying because they might use it against us for any reason. But because nothing like Fed posting, I just mean like I don't want to say what I think might be happening, but I agree with you in the sense of like a lot of this seems like it's at our darkest hour, but it could be just because things are moving in a certain direction.
What's the darkest hour?
And
What's
maybe
the darkest hour? I think I'm celebrating. I'm happy, dude. This is not a dark hour for me at all.
Well, the demographic trend in America is kind of set on a certain course. And again, like it's not even about white or not. I mean, there's a lot of white people I don't like either, but I'm just saying, like, generally speaking, like it's just like a general dysgenic
Wait, you mean like
negative
you mean like
situation.
you mean like the bastardization of everything American? How we just like somehow been subverted by an anti-American ideology?
Yeah, everybody hates families. Everybody hates kids. Everybody hates like men. I think it's just
Religion.
a really
Who's everybody?
stupid.
All the
everybody?
libs, all the crazy libs and shit.
Yeah, like we have to do this. Liberalism is literally like the worst thing that you could be called, in my opinion. Like it's worse than the Nazi, the Yahtzee word. It's worse than all that. But see, people don't want to say that, right? Like liberal is the worst because liberal literally hates everyone, and they want to make everyone else suffer for it. And I think that's really the problem with liberalism.
It does seem like
in a lot of
sadistic
ways,
narcissism with a lot of them. They seem like they want to intentionally mentally harm people, and they're all kind of narcissistic, and they're like I feel like they're sadistic narcissists. And even if not all of them were, I think especially with things like social media amplifying it, they almost get like a symptomatic response. And so they all do it.
Well, it's a feedback loop, and it's destroying everything.
Right. Now it's got us doing it.
Loop. Well, and here's the thing is like a lot of
yeah.
women are going off the deep end for one reason. Like they hate men, they're not having kids, and if they do have kids, they get divorced and hate everybody for whatever happened. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of bad men too, don't get me wrong, but it's like the bitterness is like infective, right? And it's just infecting everything. People are just so bitter for everything, and it's like you just can't have a society that runs on bitterness.
You mean how when they make it a state choice for abortion, and then they're like, "Well, I'm going to go to that state and have 12 abortions," that kind of shit. Yeah, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is like that's the overt stuff, but there's a lot of subtlety, like Becky and HR and stuff like this. Like we, just to have a job for a lot of people, like it's just like torture, like, and that slow drip of like narcissism or whatever you want to call it is like, it's poison, and it's poisoning everything. And again, like I'm not saying this to be black-pilled, I'm really not. But what I'm saying is that there's got to be a shift. And what's funny is a lot of the leftists know this, the people who are calling themselves communists, like they understand a lot of this stuff on a fundamental level, but then it's like their answer is like, well, let's just get rid of all borders, get rid of all white people, and everything will be better. It's like,
you think they wouldn't be
I don't think that's going to help anybody.
I guess everybody's a little terrified about AI and automation and yada yada yada. But you'd think if they want Star Trek and they want communism and shit, they'd be all about some motherfucking AI.
They were the same. Well, hold on. They were the same way about cell phones. They were the same way about any major technological shift. It's going to take away jobs. It's going to do this. That's just people freaking out about everything. Like you ever been at I've worked lots of jobs in my life. Okay. And you ever been at a job where the guy is like afraid to tell you his job because he's afraid you're going to steal his job? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it happens all
the
time. Yeah.
He's like, I don't want you to know it as good as I do. Like union jobs, especially, dude. Like
other cultures are like that really bad too. Yeah, other cultures are like that really bad. Like that's why they stifle a lot because they're worse, than us.
Well, I mean, and it's protectionism, dude. Like if I know how to do this craft and I don't show anybody else, people will come to me, and especially if you're like you make shoes. You make shoes or make garments in other countries. You don't want people to know your family's trade secret because you have a customer base, but that's really a downfall of society in a way.
Well, and that's one of the things I think that's freeing about the technology. And to be honest with you, like I'm extremely skeptical of technology in a general sense, but like on the AI situation, it's like, look, if we're going to have it, it can produce like a new artisan class. Like the stuff that I can do with AI just in writing, is incredible. Where I can draw all these sources and mix them together.
Let's make it interesting. When shit really starts going out there, okay, and they start giving robots a lot more freedom of choice, and shit like that. So, can you imagine like you have good robots and bad robots, and it really becomes like Terminator? Like, it's inevitable, man. I mean, like that kind of shit's gonna happen. There's gonna be good robots. There's gonna be bad robots, dude. I think.
Well, the worst thing is that there might be a lot of
code. You think a criminal's not going to be able to copy and duplicate?
Well,
to a degree,
here's the thing: is look at who's the most successful people in tech right now. It's a bunch of drug-addled, people from India or, people who are confused about their gender. I mean, that's just kind of the reality of where we're at. Again, I'm not saying that's a hate, but it's true.
I notice you keep on bringing foreign stuff for it instead of just people like crazy lunatic people,
I've lived
Middle East are crazy.
around these
There's
people.
Chinese people are crazy.
Yeah, but I've lived around
my
these
wife's
people.
from Pakistan. My wife is from Pakistan, dude. I know.
There's mine's not from this country either, so I get it. Yeah, it's not like a personal thing. So I get it. I think I'm all for it.
I mean, I wouldn't put an Indian guy anywhere. There's crazy leftists in this country that are fucking do the same thing. You know what I mean? So they're in the same.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Don't get me wrong. One of my best friends is Pakistani. The other one's Chinese. I get it. To be honest with you, in real life, I have virtually no white friends.
I don't know who really has all the big money in Silicon Valley and shit. I couldn't really tell you.
Yeah, well, it's a big mess. The point is like I'm not even judging it in like a negative way. My point is that there's always going to be a cartel, right? Like all these industries are going to invite cartels.
Let me see who this person is and ask them how old they are. Hold on. How old are you? Who'd you vote for? Cool.
I fucking hate niggers.
Oh, you're a racist. Okay, gotcha. Racist.
Yeah, people like that are just trying to destroy good conversation. So it's going to keep. It always happens on every show. I do this on
social media and social media. It's just like, God damn it.
Yeah, I do this mostly on YouTube, and I had to weather a lot of this. But TikTok is a special kind of weird. You guys have got like some weird stuff going on over here. So
what do you do on YouTube? Like I've done live before on YouTube, but I just I don't have a really built base.
It's not
I don't have a
active.
built up base on this anymore.
It's not active though. It's like it's weird. Like it feels like the dead internet theory is kind of real in a sense where it's like everybody's kind of siphoned off into their own thing. Like I came to TikTok for one reason. Like I wanted to find people like myself, obviously, like you guys, but also like younger guys and see like what's really going on with them, because like I'm really concerned. Like most of the guys that I see where I live at, like they're not interested in marriage. They're not interested in kids.
So you got to think about what's going on. You got to think about what's going on. You got to think, okay, so just think about their friends. Okay. They're with a bunch of crazy leftists, let's say, is the majority of their friend group. Okay. They follow each other. They share the same trends. They see the same shit in their algorithms, and social media, big tech, regular mainstream news, all that stuff has been fucking controlled. Okay. We have the CIA in America. We got all this shit. It has been psychological warfare for years. We're not going to fix it in a day, dude. Like that's what's going on. That's what's destroying them, dude. Like, I agree.
I agree. But also I think that like we have to be very wary of people like quote unquote on our own side. And like, I know from personal experience, I'm not going to get into it, but like a lot of the people, and this is why you're seeing like these people LARPing as
all I give a fuck about the criminals. Hey, the criminals go to jail. Everybody's going to be fine. As long as people, who gives a fuck if you're on the left or right, really?
Well, no, I get you what you're saying, but also
it's
like
not a gang. It's not a gang. I'm left.
Propaganda and memes. No, but people are impacted by this stuff though. Like propaganda works, and propaganda is very sophisticated now. And it's making people very depressed, and it's making them very.
Let me give you an example.
Anti-human.
Let me give you an example
for sure.
Yeah, but let me give you an example. They say Barack Obama made it where news media outlets can lie to you. All right, so hang on a second. So like, imagine we go back and we say news outlets can't, put false information out there now. Okay, now let's just say you're news, okay? You claim to be news, you go get yourself a little credential badge, and then you go put something out there. They say you can't do that. That's fake news. The government's going to tell you now. I would rather have my propaganda, you have your propaganda, and I don't want any government involved in telling me what's propaganda, what's not. That's what I don't get about people. They don't even understand what they're talking about sometimes. And I know what they're saying. They can't be liable. They can't be sued and stuff. But like, the government needs to keep their nose out of it and let me tell Ninja whatever the fuck he wants to tell me, and he can tell me whatever the fuck he wants to tell me, and I can decide what's the bullshit for myself.
Well, you can't really though.
Why can't we just tell each other conspiracy theories and shit? What if we want to talk about if we really went to the moon the first time, if we were just trying to fuck with the Russians and then we only went back the other times?
But see, a lot of these things
explain to me why all the
why the USSR tried to conquer Afghanistan, and the US basically armed the Mujahideen, which later turned into ISIS and the T groups that bombed the U.S. So when it comes to the quote unquote world diplomacy that is happening right now, and when we ask ourselves why there's so much war, well, guess what? You have the U.S. and the USSR to thank for, because even after the USSR fell and they ceased to be the Soviet Union, guess what? No one stopped making weapons because it's a business at that point. By then, it became a business, and you know what? You're gonna make a lot of money by selling those AKs to rebels, right? You're gonna make a lot of money selling armaments to any side of the conflict, wherever it may be, or around the world. So, yeah, that's what I gotta say.
Probably there are statistics about the world's biggest, let's say, military manufacturers. You just probably can see what is the balance of those, like who owns them, and then probably that will give you insights about what is the bigger name of the bigger game. But at the end of the day, I think they produce that on the money of the taxpayers, of those who chooses the governments. It's
Okay, so I want to go to say Europe, right? So if my dollar value is worth less than a euro over there, then that should be telling me, hey, something's wrong with my economy because I'm not getting as much value as I should be. That's how it's personally affecting you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hey, SV, are you there? SBS? Oh, that's all right. Maybe SBS will cut. SBS. Oh, there you are.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. Sorry, I was just letting people have a chance to talk because I'll filibuster. My bad.
No, you're fine. No, you were in the live stream last night, right? We were talking to Carbon and Riley, right?
Yeah, I think I was on your panel where this dude was like threatening people or something too. So I was probably being a little bit of a dick, but yeah, I don't know if it was your panel or somebody else, but there's all these like weird people like calling us Yahtzees and stuff. So,
but they do.
I mean,
I think
well,
it's,
yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, well, I think it was you who said something about like Dorita and stuff, and I'm pretty sure with what you just said that I'm correct. Am I right about that? You were talking about like Dorita or Dorita. I don't know how you say his name.
Postmodern.
Yeah, Derrida. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. So
I just wanted to tell you real quick. My internet went down last night, so that's why I kind of like it was out for like 30 minutes. So I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
I just wanted to let you know.
Yeah, no, you're good. I think that honestly, that's happened to me a lot recently here on TikTok, where like we're getting into like some good stuff, and then suddenly like everyone just gets shut down. So I don't know what's going on, but could be someone not liking what we're talking about. But yeah, so Dorada. So how do you say his name? My friend's a postmodern guy. I'm not really into it. I mean, I'm trying to learn about it, but I'm not an expert on it yet.
Yeah, it's Derrida.
Derrida, yeah. And so this is a thing, like, I definitely want to contact you because, like, some of my friends have been really deep into this kind of stuff, but I haven't seen anybody on TikTok talking about postmodern stuff. But it's like you said yesterday, it's the key to understanding what's happening for sure, in my opinion, because like most conservatives, quote unquote, they're just so far behind like what's actually going on. And I'm not saying that like I'm so smart. Like it took me a long, hard fight to figure this stuff out. And I was lucky that I've had like experts on postmodernism teaching me about it. And it's like, it gets really crazy. Like, it gets Philip K. Dick really quick. You're like, whoa, like this is pretty insane. Cause you got like occultism, you've got communism, you've got post-communism, you've got post-communism. So you got like Trotsky, Gramsci, all this stuff going on. And then you have all these people who don't like it, but are like feeding into it so they can get a job as a PhD. And it gets pretty weird. And people don't understand like the levels of complexity of what's happening in the propaganda stuff. Let's just put it that way. Yeah.
Sorry, I apologize. I'm sick. Like I'm down with the flu. I've been sick since Monday, so that's my apologies.
Yeah, no, you have a good night, man. You come back anytime.
Well, no. I'm still staying on. I just want to. I'm just saying I'm sick.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope you feel better. Yeah, it's no. I mean, what SBS is saying is absolutely correct. That it's postmodernism. It's the Frankfurt School. This is why the left is fucking crazy. It's those. It's those. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. No, you finish.
Oh no, I was just saying that this is the reason why they believe the things they do. It's like this is why they think race and gender are social constructs. This, and you know how they're always talking about deconstruction. This is Derrida.
Well, see, the thing is, like, there's truth in it, but they take it to the nth degree where it basically destroys all possibility to know reality, right? And then because they end up hating themselves for coming to this realization, they just want to destroy everything, right? And it's kind of like how like philosophy can make you go mad or math can make you go mad. That's kind of what's happening. And personally, I think it's being done on purpose with the Frankfurt School and Tavistock, all this stuff. I mean, people think it's a conspiracy theory, but like I wish it was as simple as the conspiracy theories sound, because it'd be a lot easier than what we're actually talking about. It's way more complicated, and it's like, and I mean, it's simple, but it's complicated too, right? Like it's. I was going to say, oh yeah, well, the scary part is that I personally, I'll just say that I believe, but really I know, but I'll just say that I believe a lot of the people on the quote unquote right are definitely a part of this, whether they're fully aware of it or not, where they're playing the dialectical side of like the right wing, but really they're actually coming out of the Frankfurt School. And I'm not going to name names because like I don't want to get like, I already have a lot of these people who hate me because I've kind of been calling them out. But a lot of these people on the right wing are a part of this kind of like postmodern psychological, like they call it. I can't remember the name for it, but it's like some sort of like T word, like terror thing, like they're trying to like do like postmodern like art activism against the right wing.
I mean, tyranny?
And what I mean, no, terror, stuff like terror stuff.
Oh.
Like the meme wars, like there's all these memes, and the memes are all like really negative blackpilling things, right? Like this is not an accident, right? And a lot of the conspiracy theory stuff, like it's true, but they don't contextualize it correctly, right? So they don't put it in the right lens, and then it just kind of puts you in like this kind of like state of like terror and shock and fear, which frankly it's justifiable, but it's also like not useful when it gets to that level, right? And I think that's what you see with like QAnon and stuff like this, where a lot of it's true, but it's just kind of made it to the point where it's absurd. And then of course on the left, they're like, raving Trotskyists who are just like international communism now, American stolen land, so let's bring 6 billion people to America because it's magic dirt and everybody will be free. It's like, it's some sort of strange occultism, merged with like political ideology and stuff. And so the most people on the conservative right just don't fully understand that, right? And so the world looks like it's falling apart to them, but I think it's a lot more controlled in some ways, just because the C-19 thing to me taught me that, where it's like they obviously know how to manage people enough to keep things kind of together, right, as they're shifting gears. Now, will it hold that way? I don't know, but they obviously are not fully just crazy people in charge, right? Like obviously they know what they're doing, right? So but they're really scared of people who are genuinely asking questions. That's definitely what I've learned, is like if you go earnestly and ask these like influencers on the left or the right, they get really upset if you start talking specifically about like postmodernism and stuff like this, or like Trotsky, and I think like personally, I believe America is a Trotskyist nation and has been for 100 years, right? And I think if you start there with like Trotsky and Gramsci, then America starts making a lot more sense, because you're like, well, it's not really about the Anglo-American Empire, obviously, but it might be it. See, what's weird is like it could be possibly, but if that's the case, they're going about it in such a Malthusian way that the whole idea of like Nick Fuentes and these kind of people is so far out of whack with reality, right? Because they're obviously willing to sacrifice anyone to kind of hold this empire together, right? And so it puts us in a very bad situation on both sides, right? And I think this is what is very frustrating because like the right wing could handle it, but the left wing can't handle it and they won't look at the information, right? So and the right wing just isn't aware of it, so it's like a really bad situation in my opinion.
See, I fully agree with you, but I think I strongly believe that America is the last pillar of freedom across the globe because you look at China or maybe Japan, but you look at China, here in Canada, it's as well. We're trying to pass bills where, like, we voted, like for example, the Conservatives put forward a motion where we have a 3-strike system in place so that repeat offenders get max sentence for their criminal activity. And the Liberals, the left, they voted no on that, and they're trying to put forward a censorship bill so you can't say anything bad against the government. And then we have a prime minister and a government that is like, oh, we're pro-Canadian. Oh, we're all about Canada, and then he proceeds to take his own company, Brookfield, out of Canada and puts into the States. So, and then he's trying to make international trades with China, but instead, like if you're trying to, like if you have a business in America, wouldn't you want America to thrive?
Well, I'll tell you why though. See, this is kind of the thing, and this is kind of what I'm trying to get at, and I didn't do a good job of saying this. So, like, I'm not scared of China for one reason. Like, China is an ethno state. Korea is an ethno
I am
state.
scared of China because we're adopting their values.
Yeah, I get you, but like, here's the thing: is like it's happening because whatever's happening is happening. I would assume, and I could be wrong, because it's being allowed to happen by the Anglo-American Empire, right? Like, obviously, England or France or Germany or America's made deals with these people, and so, and I think it could be a Trojan horse against a lot of these people because, like, I don't think that China can rule the world. Like, they're just too much of an ethno state. America, though, we do rule the world specifically because we're basically an ideology and we're an economic system that cannot really be denied. And so ultimately, like, and again, like, I'm not like a communist or anything, but like, I think capitalism is basically like an engine for, it's not white supremacy. See, this is the thing is like, they get it like somewhat right, but it's not really white supremacy. It's basically like capitalism's like a monster and you can't stop it because everybody's best interest financially and economically is tied to its success, right? So the reason that this guy that you're talking about is doing these things is because he can make no other decision financially or economically because the system itself will not allow you to make that. I mean, you could do it, but you would just basically throw all your money in the trash can and your family would be poor and destitute. So he's not going to do that, right? And that's kind of the reason why a lot of these people are in charge, because they're like the people who end up in charge are the people who are most willing to sacrifice principles and values for economics, because the economics are what's determining people's morals and ethics, right? And so again, I'm not saying that in like a communist way. I'm just saying like that's the reality of the situation in postmodern philosophy, right?
But what if I told you that our prime minister sorry, excuse me. What if I told you that our prime minister was before the governor, he ruled the Bank of England, made England more broke than the state of Mississippi, then became Justin Trudeau's advisor, and then now became prime minister? What if I told you that?
Well, this is the question, right? Like, is the English Empire stupid? Do they exist? Do they not exist? Is the Empire of America stupid? Are they in control or not? Like, I don't know the answer to that, but I mean, like for instance, the way that I explain it is that this is my personal opinion, and I would love John's input on this because a lot of this gets into territory where people start throwing accusations at you. But like my postulation is that there's this idea that the world's becoming multipolar. So like the American empire is falling apart, and now Russia and China are now coming to power, and they're going to have more control over their spheres. My personal opinion is I think America, England, Israel, China, and Russia have a pact, a secret pact together, and they're working together to get the whole world on the same page. For what reason, I don't know. But that's my personal belief, right? And so, ultimately, they're all going to serve different parts to this system, and they don't want to tell people that, obviously, because it wouldn't make sense to people, and then people would probably freak out more than they are. So they're giving people narratives to distract from that reality. And so, they're going to have to break a lot of eggs to keep this rolling in the direction it's going, right? And whether that's good or not, I don't know. But like, I think that on both sides, people are trying to decide, like, do we want to keep the system like somewhat functional for the average person, or do we just want to crash it and burn it all, right? And it's very clearly like the left is like, let's crash and burn it all, and the right wing's like, let's just try to ride this out and like not destroy everything, because like we have kids and we have like, we believe in like, ethics and morals and stuff like that, right? And so that's really like the dichotomy that we have brewing. And I just, it just feels as if like the people who are in charge are like, they're just really rolling the dice. Like, hopefully we can manage this well enough not to like, implode the global economy. You know what I mean? And it seems that they're doing a pretty good job of that, I would say. But again, a lot of us are going to suffer because like you're in Canada, right? Like I have friends who live in like Edmonton, and they're like 50% of my city is now like from like Pakistan or something,
I mean,
right?
that's
And
where I'm from. I'm from Edmonton.
right, yeah, and people have told me that like it's like all these people from other countries are coming, and it's like it's just not a good situation. Now again, I don't hate anybody from anywhere or anything like that. I really don't. But I definitely don't think it's a good idea to just like use people's economic units and just bait and switch them here or there. Like, well, we just plug in some people here, we just put them here, we put them there, and it's just economics. I mean, don't get mad at it. It's like that's really, really, really bad for everybody, including the people who are coming, right? So,
but see, the problem is though, is that this is this may be off topic, but it's like over here in Canada, and I said this to John and many other people, is that you guys are lucky in the States to actually have a system to implement it. You guys care about border security. You guys care about who you're letting into the country, right? Over here in Canada, you literally just checking it on the app, and then you're let into the country. No criminal history back check, none of that, right? So when we have over 4.5 million immigrants that come into Canada within the past 4 years, that is concerning to me, especially when our infrastructure doesn't hold up to keep those people in place. So, and a lot of people here, when they come here, a lot of them are criminals. Like if you look at Canada's most wanted list, a lot of them are from the Middle East.
Yeah, of course.
And then
Yeah.
The other thing I'll add on to that too is that when you let in a bunch of people who want to change the culture into another country, right? Like pro-Palestine is a perfect example, right? They're bringing their issues from their country into my country, and then they want to disrupt all of our lives. It's one thing to raise awareness, but it's another thing to disrupt everyone's lives and then break our property, destroy taxpayer property,
right,
and just destroy the whole system,
well,
right?
but here's the
So-
question though. Like, do you think okay, for example, like I think Canada's ruled by England or whoever rules England. I mean,
it was England, but then we separated.
Well,
it was under.
I'm not
under
so
the
sure.
crown.
I'm honestly not
It
so
was under
sure
the
though.
crown.
I'm not so sure. Like I think that there's a very close relationship between the British Empire and Canada and Australia. Now, I think it's well hidden, but I think it's definitely there. Like
No,
there's definitely
that is
something.
definitely there for sure. But
Yeah. And so I say
guess
that to say that, like, why would they do that to their own people unless they have some sort of plan? Like, for example, right? I'll give you a very specific example. Like, I'm sure you've noticed there's a lot of Sikhs coming in, right? And Sikhs are kind of like a weird occult version of like Islam, where they're like, we're not really Islamic, but we kind of are. And mostly they're like Freemasons, and they kind of behave like, you know, people who wear small hats in some ways. So, you know, there's kind of like a weird like
There's a
thing
lot
going
of
on
those people
there,
here.
right?
There's a lot of
Right.
them.
And I think that and I've heard this from people who are from that region of the world. They say something to the effect that like, well, the British Empire used these people for like certain campaigns in that region in the world a long time ago. So it's kind of like they scratched our back. Now we're going to give them something in return. And this kind of gets into stuff that like you can't really talk about on social media, but because people are going to misconstrue it and say that it's like you're anti something or another, or you're against this or that. And it's really not even that. It's literally like the history of the British Empire is very complicated, right? So like I'll mention this term because I think I can say this one, like British Israelism, right? So
Yeah.
it's like this whole occult system of like magical beliefs about Christianity and the Anglo-Saxons and Israel and the Jews and Christians.
I mean, that's
and
my family background
you
is
know,
Anglo-Saxon.
Right. Yeah, me too. So it's like it's like it's just one of those things where people like, again, they're misconstruing all these different things. You know, like Freemasonry is like people think that it's one thing or the other. I don't fully know what it is, but what I do know is that it ties to British Israelism, right? So like
Yeah.
you have this very strange system of like beliefs that have basically infiltrated all of Christianity at this point, or most of Christianity, not all, but and so, you know, you've got like occult versions of Christianity, you've got occult versions of Islam, you've got occult versions of, you know, even Buddhism, you know. And so you have all these different things going on, you know, like and it goes right into postmodernism, right? Like if you look at a lot of postmodern stuff, it's very influenced by like Theosophy and Blavatsky and British Israelism and all this, but they put it into terms where it's not overt, and so they're kind of covering it up in a lot of ways. And again, this is why a lot of the conspiracy theories are like somewhat right, but it's kind of like counterproductive unless you can kind of see the long view of the whole thing. And again, I'm still like in the process of doing that, but that's why the politics seems so schizo, right? Because you know, if you don't really look at the history and the philosophy and stuff, like it just can't really make any sense, because you're just given like little factoids like, well, you know, the British Empire did this, and then they made this pact, and then they went to this war. But there's never like an explanation of like, well, you know, why are the Sikhs coming to Canada, for example, right? And then when you look at it through the lens of like, well, they made deals with the British Empire a long time ago. They've kind of been their kind of like henchmen over there. You know, kind of like how I think it was like the Prussians or the Hessians used to be for like the American Empire, like when they first started, right? Like you had all these like German soldiers who were like basically mercenaries, right? And
Yeah, like and with the Normans, I'm part Norman as well, and I believe with the Normans, they also kind of allowed that in a sense.
exactly, yeah. And again, it's like it's weird because you think like, well, if the leaders of these countries or these peoples are German and English, why would they do this to their own country of Germany and England, right? Because America was basically like German and English, right, for the most
Yeah,
part.
because
You know,
the Germanic tribes, they moved to a fun fact though is the Normans came from a Germanic tribe, and then they moved to uh uh sorry, my brain's out there, like Denmark and Sweden, Switzerland as well. Um and then they moved to Ireland and Scotland, and that's how they became known as the Vikings. But anyway, that's off topic. But
well, no, it's actually not off topic. I mean, the history of the Vikings is extremely weird. Like, you know, when you look at it, they like suddenly just pop up out of nowhere. They basically take over a bunch of Europe and become kind of like, you know, the merchant class, I guess, to some degree, you
they
know,
basically were,
and
because they made a lot of trade deals. Well, here's the thing though, is that when they settled in Ireland and Scotland, and this is how it kind of ties in with Israel and Palestine nowadays. Is if you look at modern day England, the Scots and like the Celtics, they've been at war with England for so long that they really have a border wall in their own country that says, "Hey, I support Scotland," or they bowed and then there's the other side that, oh, I bow down to England, right? So that's how I kind of see Israel and Palestine is that, well, Israel doesn't want to give up that land, but Palestine wants that land. So it's kind of, I think a lot of people on both sides are switching sides. So
well, exactly. Well, and I think that's what's happening in America too, where you can't really trust the face of anything. I'm sure you guys have seen like the MAGA communists. You've seen like it's so bizarre, and that's what's so weird about this whole thing of like the last couple years obviously have been weird in general, but ever since this I don't even know if we can say the terms on here, but like the Palestinian conflict has been going on. You've seen the right and the left totally shift, and now people who would have been enemies 10 years ago are now like best friends, and it just doesn't make any sense unless you kind of look at it from the point of view of like, well, that's kind of how these psychological operations work, where they just kind of like shift the goalpost so hard that everybody's trying to like reprioritize their morals or whatever it is that they're basing their political affiliations with, right? And I mean it in the last 10 years I've been called everything, and it's like I'm really just a student of history, if anything else, right? Like I'm just trying to figure out what's happening, and everybody hates you for that because they don't want to look into it because it's very painful to like try to dig into.
well, the problem is that no one likes being wrong, but like I don't know about you, but as a person, I have no problem with being wrong. It's the same with Trump, right? Like all these people want to accuse Trump of SA and all that stuff. Well, if you have the evidence and the proof, then I will say, hey, Trump is a bad person. But unfortunately for the left, they try to kill him 3 times or pew him 3 times. They impeached him twice, and then now they're accusing him of all these charges, right? So the boy who cried wolf, that's all I gotta say.
Well, and it makes them look silly. I mean, that's the thing is like for people like us, it's only going to entrench us further. And just in the same way, like it's either. I mean, I definitely lean. I mean, I definitely consider myself a right wing person for one basic reason. For example, like when the people on the other side are like nationalism equals Yahtzee, nationalism equals like genocidal maniac. It's like, okay, so like having a border is a genocidal maniac. Okay, like I mean that's just.
I mean, the same thing.
I can't have a conversation.
Same thing with Charlie Kirk. They shot a guy just because he wanted to debate.
Well,
and then he was owning everyone, so they had to shut him up somehow.
No, 100%. And I mean, like, I don't want to get too much into that because that's a whole nother can of worms.
Oh yeah. No, I just thought.
No. I know. I mean, what I mean by that is like I want to get into that, but it's a big topic because, the guy who was asking the question when he got, dinged or whatever, was like a part of an organization that was working with like people like Destiny, right? Now, I'm not making any accusations, but it is very odd that like this whole group of people that went around harassing Charlie Kirk for years before he died just happened to be like very heavily involved in the kind of like distraction of what was happening at the time, if you get what I'm saying, right? And it's just a very bizarre group of people that are involved. And if you haven't looked into that, you should go look up like who that guy is and the organization he was in. And, also the fact that it's like Utah, you have Mormons over there. I don't want to get too much into it. It's a dangerous topic, but I mean, it's really, really, really weird,
I just think it's really sad.
Weird.
Like, I cried my heart out that day. I looked up to that guy a lot just in terms of how, he kind of motivated me to start into the gym and, kind of turn towards God a bit more. And, but.
Well, see, and again, I'm not going to deny anything you said. Like honestly, I was not a big fan of him until the last like year of his life because he really got hardcore. And some of it was honestly like a little bit too extreme sounding. Not that he was wrong, but like I understand why left-wing people got mad at him because like he was just putting it in their face like I don't care about your feelings at all, right? And I think that like it's not that he's wrong, but you also have to realize that these people are insane and they're just looking for an excuse, right? So in retrospect, it's not surprising that somebody would do something like this, whether Candace Owens is right or not, I haven't really looked at it, but I'm just saying, like, whatever the truth of it is, it's definitely plausible that someone would be crazy enough to go and do something like that. But
See, and again, you guys are lucky because, like, when was the last time Canada had a hero like that? Like Terry Fox.
Well, here's the thing though. So like, and I don't want to be too like weird, and hopefully John is cool with this because like I don't want to be all weird. I'm gonna be very like, I'm gonna be very like PC about it, but like TPUSA is like a really weird organization, and I think that's become more evident since he died, right? And I mean, the history of that organization is weird in and of itself, but you know, like the guy who wrote the manual for psychological operations for the United States is literally on the board of that organization, right? So that doesn't necessarily mean that it's like an evil organization, but definitely psychological operations. So I think it's a whole can of worms to get into. But again, it doesn't change the fact that like a lot of what Charlie Kirk did was like ultimately, I think, a good, because here's the thing: if people can't talk about their issues openly and honestly, even if it's extremely uncomfortable, everybody knows in history where that leads to, right? And that's what the left or whatever these people are claiming to be this week are pushing for. Like they're literally trying to push us into a whatever. And here's the thing: is like the whole ICE thing is just an excuse. Like it could be anything. Like they'll use anything as an excuse. And here's the thing: is like I always say to them, it's like, you just don't want borders for the United States, basically. And it's like, yes. And I'm like, so it really isn't even about the people that got hurt or the people that got unalive. This is what I do in all these arguments with these people. Like, you don't care about these people, right? You're just using them as a political prop, right? And they'll almost always admit, yes, you're right. Now shut up and die, essentially, right? Like that's all they really care about. They don't really care about, and I think that's the good thing is like, if you can get these people to admit in an open line and record it and show people like, look, these people don't care about anything. Like they're literally just hate everyone, including themselves, right? I think that's a very powerful thing that we can do.
Sure.
And I think that's what Charlie was doing, really. And I think that's probably why somebody higher up like did not like him, because they're like, you're exposing like that they have no argument, and they're not interested in an argument with you at all. Like they just want you to go away and not exist, essentially.
See, the people that don't believe in borders, these are like what I say to those people is leave your door open at night. If you don't believe in borders and security, then leave your doors open. Don't complain if anyone breaks into your house and steals your crap.
Here, let's Mike, are you there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, thanks for waiting patiently there. You're at least 18, right?
Yeah.
Great. What would you like to say?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to come up and say, but what the prompt was that you're MAGA, right?
Yeah, my the prompt I usually have for some reason disappeared tonight. But yeah, I'm MAGA, and I think the political left is crazy.
Oh yeah, I absolutely. The political left is insane.
Yeah.
I am on the right, but I wouldn't say I identify with MAGA as much as I used to. I feel like it's kind of fallen off to a point, I guess is the way I'd put it.
How so?
Well, for example, today completely pulled ICE out of Minneapolis. It kind of Minnesota. It feels like he kind of caved to the left with that, is what I'd say.
Oh, is that right? I'd heard there was. Yeah, you know what? I guess I don't really like that. I don't. Think yeah, go ahead.
Well, but here's the thing and not to interrupt, but I just want to give some counterbalance, because again, like I'm honestly ambivalent. Like I never counted myself as a MAGA person, but for different reasons and probably most people. But I would say that like this, like maybe he's losing the battle to win the war. Like maybe he's proven his point, right? Like maybe now people can see, maybe he did the whole thing just to prove the point of like, I do like very basic level of doing my job, and these people freak out. Like maybe his point has been proven by all this,
Honestly, I wanted Trump to deal with these people like he did with Antifa.
Oh yeah, but I'd say the issue kind of lies now is that like the left sees that and they see like, oh, our protesting, all the stuff we've been doing for however long has worked. Like that's a victory to the left, and Trump kind of gave them a head on a stick with Greg Bovino, I believe is his name, Bovino. I don't know if I pronounce it, but they kind of gave the left a head on a stick in Greg Bovino, because I believe I heard he's getting fired, or they're doing something with him within the next week. I think
Bongino.
Yeah, Bongino. The guy who the left claims is a Yahtzee because he wears a trench coat. I guess wearing a trench coat makes you a Yahtzee now to them. But yeah, he kind of has given them a head on a stick with that, and now they see that they've taken him out. They see that they've gotten ICE taken out of Minneapolis. So now it's just going to make them push even harder against what Trump is doing and against what the administration is doing.
Like they got some momentum.
Exactly. Trump is giving them momentum with this.
Well, here's the thing though, is like, first of all, I think we can't have any heroes, like Trump's not a hero, JD Vance's not a hero, even the best person in the world, other than, like, for me, I'm a Christian, so I was Jesus is my only hero. Everybody else, like, you're suspect. But I say that to say this, like, people have got to start, like, taking political power in a legal, lawful way with their family and friends around them, right? Like for instance, like in the city I live in, right? They put the most I'm trying to put it in like right terms, the most homosexual, effeminate person possible in like a political position, right? Or the most immigrant person who actually has no life experience. Like they, back home they ripped off people in a slum or something, and like now suddenly like they're the end all be all of like, an American immigrant or something, right? Like, meanwhile, the people that also come from their country are here working their ass off and they do nothing for them, right? So I think that like we just have to do the hard thing of like helping our friends get elected to city councils, city planning, stuff that we can chew on, right? And I think that if people, and that's my biggest disappointment with all the political figures that I see, is like, even if it doesn't work, if you just make these people's lives a headache, things will get better, right? Because you just make their work so much harder, right? And I think that was a big thing with the C-19 situation, where that was them trying to figure out like how much are people going to react if we try to like declare martial law for some reason, right? And I think like now that we don't have that situation, my biggest disappointment with the right is like they haven't done enough to like go and secure the places where they're around. Because I'll tell you, like, I live in an extremely left-leaning place, allegedly, but the average person here is not really that left-wing. Like, they don't like what's happening at all, right? But they just don't have a choice, because the left-wing people have taken over so much power that you cannot really fight against them unless you're willing to, get harassed by a bunch of psychopathic people, right? So I don't know what their answer is. I'm just saying, like, I think this is part of the problem with a lot of these situations is like, there's only so much political capital that somebody like Trump or these people can expend, right? And, Americans we don't really see that, like, my personal opinion is most of the world does not hate America, right? Most people in the world love America and they want to live here, because most people in the world love America and they want to live here, because most people in the world love America and they want to live here, because most people in the world love America and they want to live here, because most people in the world love America and they want to live here, because most people in the world love America and they want to live here, because the way that they are, and they actually do get actual power. Like, we're gonna have like another like Robespierre type of situation, where they
Right.
just have,
I say that all the no, you're right, man. I say that all the time. I say it's some sort of Jacobin 1793 French Revolution type of mindset, or we could say Bolshevik 1917. They're fucking crazy, and they're you're right. That's what I say too. It's they're. Yeah,
and they admit it. Here's the crazy part. They admit it. They're not even hiding it. That's what's crazy to me, is like they're not hiding it whatsoever. And this is like, the thing is, like, if you go to California and New York City, the most liberal places in the world, allegedly, they do not like this, like, lawless, people going through the streets and robbing people and doing all these things, right? But like, the left is just allowing it to happen for whatever reason, right? And I think that people will demand law and order, right?
But see,
when it starts affecting them, they will.
See that, like, that's how we can kind of compare in a sense, like from here in Canada, right? Like Alberta, Saskatchewan, part of BC, and Manitoba, we want to separate because of the fact that there's so much crime here in Canada that the government isn't doing anything. So for you guys, it's only at the state level. So if this were to happen under a liberal government or a democratic government on a national level, imagine the chaos that would happen.
Absolutely. I think, and the other issue is like the left, they think of themselves like the rebels from Star Wars. I saw one of these panels and they had all their like topics up, and they had the rebel symbol from Star Wars with instead it was colored pride instead of the regular color that it is. And if you try to debate them, they just like they try to take a moral high ground so much. Like when they term abortion as like health care for women.
Right.
And they try to take such a moral high ground and frame the right as being evil.
Well, I try to go on.
See, abortion is I only agree with it if there was something done wrong to that woman. But other than that, it's just irresponsible and careless, and you're killing a living being inside another person.
Well, see, the thing is they're it's really the rich that are doing this to people, right? And see, this is what's funny is like the left is so dumb. They're like, we hate billionaires. It's like, well, who do you think's promoting all your talking points? I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
who do you think is supporting the panel that you're speaking on right now as we're speaking?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's one of those things where you say this to these people and they hate you so much because they know you're right. That's what's crazy is I try to go on left-wing panels more than the right wing because I'm actually trying to I'm really trying to see, like, is there any hope?
They yell at you. They call you names.
They won't even let me get up because they say, like, I need your name and your pronoun. I said I'm a male, and they'll make the whole thing about like, oh, that's not a pronoun. I was like, why? Like, I've already told you I'm a male, right? Like, why do I need to get into the pronouns thing? Like,
and what business is it theirs anyway? Like, why does it matter?
Right. And they'll make the entire thing about that, and then if they do let you get past this, like, first like little test, right? Because it's all humiliation. They just want to humiliate you, right? And to me, it's like it's actually, I feel bad for them because I'm like, okay, like if you're this obsessed with it, like obviously there's something wrong with you. But I'm not gonna, like, it's for the audience. Like if I go and I do it just for the sake of getting on the panel, it shows weakness, right? And so I'm trying to like let them know, like, I'm not gonna. I'll be respectful, but I'm not gonna do what you're asking me to do, right?
You know Dean Weathers, right?
I've heard the name. I don't know who it is.
So he's probably the most liberal kid you could ever meet in your life. He's the most immature. You could tell he's never worked a day in his life. Everything was handed to him. He's just one of those guys. Okay, I managed to get up on a panel of his when he first started out, and again, just the most immature kid. Same thing. Just wanted to humiliate you for good laughs and stuff, right? Now, I actually managed to get revenge on him because it actually made the news where his TikTok account got banned or suspended. And the funny part is that, like, oh, we don't know who. And the funny part is that I'm the one who actually reported him multiple times.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, we have to do that to these people because look, they want to do so much worse than that to us, right? And again, like, it's not that I'm like want to shut down free speech. Like, literally here's what's crazy. They're literally advocating for like violence, right?
Right.
And then they accuse you of that because you have a different opinion.
Well,
It's insane, you know?
Yeah, they think that basically anybody who is against like an open border and that believes that race and gender are not social constructs, they think is a Yahtzee, and they think that words are violence, so they can respond with actual physical.
Right, exactly. And so, and I think that, and that's why I think that your understanding of this stuff is so important, because if you can teach conservatives this stuff, then they can understand the situation they're actually in, right? And then they can actually have a chance to, you know, react appropriately. And again, I'm not saying that in any like weird way or violent way or anything like that. I'm saying like they need to understand like everything to them is euphemism, everything to them is sarcasm. They're never honest ever. Like they literally don't believe in being honest, or I don't think they're capable for the most part, right? Like they're incapable of being honest.
You know, when I was in college, the philosophers I learned about was like, you know, like Aristotle, and the closest I got to the left was Rousseau. I didn't know anything about postmodernism or the Frankfurt School really until like Jordan Peterson is where I learned about modernism from about 10 years ago. So I had no idea all these things existed. But like if you look at this, it's like this makes sense. This deranged worldview that they have that is just really just metastasized in the universities and you know, and it spreads out through Hollywood. But this is where this comes from, and I don't really know.
It's just sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say the worst part is that most experts don't even know what they're talking about, or they're literally lying to people about it.
Like Nancy Pelosi.
I don't really know. I was talking to somebody, I think, about this today or maybe yesterday. I said I don't. We're doing the right thing here. We're having the debates, you know. So we're trying to counter it on an intellectual level, but I don't really know. I just if they need. I think maybe we need to bring back mental hospitals because that's what they're really.
Well, it's just the fact that like we like the way I see it is that us Republicans, or conservatives, we have normal viewpoints that anyone with common sense or a brain would actually view, right? Like closed borders, abortion rights, stuff like that, right? Now, these people, when you think, oh, I believe in security and freedom and justice for people, right? What they hear is, oh, you're a racist and you're this and you're a Yahtzee and oh, you're a terrible person because you don't believe in freedom for everyone else, right? That's what everyone else, that's what these liberals think. They like when you hear, like when you hear, oh, this colored man did this to me, right? They think you're going to be a racist. That's how they see it. It's just the way they are. It's the way they're wired, and God help them, but that's just the way they are. And again, yeah, I believe they should bring back mental hospitals because of it.
Yeah, I think that's the best answer to it. Yeah, because they're I said, you know, and somebody who has a good take on this is actually another Canadian, Gad Sad. You know, he refers to this as, I'll use TikTok speak here, but he calls this a S-side empathy, right? Or I would say pathological altruism, or Sam Harris might say moral confusion. But they think that they're virtuous because they stand up for marginalized communities. So it almost becomes kind of an addiction. Right, like the more they stand up, the more virtuous they think they are, and the better they feel about themselves. It's just, you know, and we see the ultimate, you know, deranged manifestation of this, where they think that this is where they think that violence is justified, because they're so virtuous that they're going to prove it by just showing how dedicated they are.
I guess my problem is you look at Sir Mike, you go ahead.
Oh, I wasn't gonna say anything. I think my mic just went out.
Okay.
I'll just move it.
I was just gonna say that like when you look at what ICE has to do, right? Do you think they want to unalive these people? I don't think they do.
No.
But when you have your brethren and yourself in danger and at risk,
yeah,
and I would pay to see these people.
being disillusioned. It's like, look, you know what? If you're gonna be this way to me, fuck you. Kind of mindset, and rightfully so.
Yeah, and I have mixed feelings on Nick Fuentes. Like, every time I talk about him, I'm always nervous because like I can see how people can always misconstrue because he says a lot of things, and like I never really liked him until about the last year. And it's really the extreme things he says that I liked. And again, that doesn't mean that I agree with it, but I think that like I think that people on the right, you have to walk a balance where like you don't want to seem scared, but at the same time you don't want to be dumb and just offend everybody just so you get a chuckle out of it, right? Because you want to be taken seriously, but you also don't want to take yourself too seriously, if that makes sense, right? Like you don't, and I think that's kind of that's a very, very difficult line to walk for everybody right now in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I mean, Floyd
So-
but go ahead.
I was gonna
think
ask what kind of things he says that's kind of offensive or not offensive, but kind of walks the border a bit.
Well, when he talks about grape or the N word or stuff, like I mean, to me personally, like I think that like I like stand up comedy, so like I look at it from I call him see, I see this to leftists and they get mad at me, right? I think he's an avant-garde artist where he's using language as an art form, right? So like I give him a lot of leeway where like it doesn't really offend me personally, right? And even people on the right, on the left, like Dave Chappelle, right? Like Dave Chappelle says stuff that I don't like, but also like I understand that he's doing a bit, he's doing a comedic part, right? And if you look at a lot of politics
or any other conservative, really,
right? and that's like really one of the most offensive things about the left is like they're so unaware that they can't even make a good joke. Like Stephen Colbert, I used to love the Colbert Report back in the early 2000s, right? And his show has just gotten progressively like more bitter and upset and unfunny, and there's really no critique left, right? And I think these people know that, you know, and I think
The
that's
same thing as South Park, I find.
yeah, because they were always leftists trying to pretend to be right wing, in my opinion, right? Which is, you can't be funny like that forever, right? Like if you're just someone who's just upset and bitter all the time, the art's gonna suck. You know, what I mean? Like it's just not gonna be good, you know.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing with South Park. Like they used to attack kind of both sides, and then later on in the seasons, like especially now, it's like they have a character who has like big jugs, and like she's singing a song about like, I'm a Christian woman and you should punch me in the face and all that stuff. It's like it's just continuous jokes like that where it's kind of like, okay, this is kind of, and now you're pushing it.
I just want to say I'm getting kind of tired here, so I'm gonna end the live stream. But I'll be back on in about 10 hours. But would y'all like to say anything before I end the live stream? Y'all are welcome.
No, it's just been a pleasure as always.
Yeah, y'all come back anytime. Y'all are great guests. I really appreciate it. You know, I actually started doing this because like I got blocked from so many. I debate the left, you know, and I got blocked from so many of their live streams. I was like, fuck it, I'll do mine. I'll do my own.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that too, because it's just you go up on one of those panels and there's like five. There's like one of the hosts, and they have their 5 moderators up there. It's gonna get
they have like 7 moderators taking out the panels. It's like, and there's like 2 left for whoever's debating, quote unquote.
Well, I'll say this really briefly, because I've been doing this for a while on YouTube, and I came at it from a very weird angle, which I won't get into now. But here's what I've learned, and here's what I see us as doing. Like I think, like obviously, we all need to have jobs and have money and take care of our families and stuff. But if we're going to do the online thing, I think, you know, we should try to help each other grow each other's channels. That's 1. 2. You know, we need to like get together and do this kind of stuff and like war game, like, okay, like what's the best way to like get our point across? And then 3rd, like we need, if we do get like a fan base, we need to take that fan base and like teach them what we know and let them go out and do the work for us, because a lot of us are like here's the thing is like you become a victim of your own success, right? And so like if there's 10,000 people like us out there disrupting what they're doing the way that these people go and disrupt our lives, I think that would be a really good thing personally. And again, it's not because like I think there's a culture war or meme war, but you know, everywhere that we go, we can make these people look like what they are, which is really, really bad people. And I think that like that can only help over time, you know. And so that's kind of my vision for why I came on to TikTok to meet guys like you. So that's how I'll leave it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's look, I feel this is important, you know. I think I don't have children. I really don't, you know, it's not my vision to have children or even get married. I think the left is subverting Western civilization. I'm just doing my best to try and to stop them, you know, to intellectually counter, and it's important. I was never into social media. I always thought it was mean spirited and just kind of, you know, I felt compelled. I was like, look, these fucking people on the left, they're fucking crazy, you know. And yeah, I'm just it's important to me. I'm almost on I was telling, I think, Leon before, you know, I said I'm on a fucking quest. So yeah, I just enjoy it, you know. It's important. It's
No, it is. In your space, I've seen your space many times, and I appreciate that you do this. And I hope that we'll all grow from this and grow, you know, an audience of well-informed, well-intentioned people. And I think that that'll be a really good thing that we're all gonna, you know, be a part of if we continue doing it. Because, you know, if you really go in the real world, there's a lot more people like us than we think, and I think that that's something we have to keep in mind, even though it doesn't seem that way.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And we couldn't
I
say
think
anything for years. We couldn't say anything. We were. It's only in the last. It's only recently here, with Elon and where he acquired Twitter and made it X, and now with President, we can actually have free speech where we couldn't just even a few years ago for a long time. Sorry, Leon. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Were you saying something?
No, I just think I think the struggle though, and the reason why I don't want to get into it too much is because of the fact that like today, John, where we have 4 Democrats up here, and then they're like, oh yeah, you're being sensitive and this and that, and I mean, it's just a constant bullying from that side, right?
Oh man, yeah. When we, I agree. I don't remember which of y'all said it, but I would go into these panels on the left, and there's like 5 of them, and they fucking would mute me. They'd overtalk me. They make fun of you. Like they made fun of me a lot. Like it's just fucking. But it's like what? Fuck them.
Like FICE did today.
Well, that's why we have to do. I mean, I don't want to say worse than them, but we have to do a better job than them. And I think that again, I don't think that we should go and take it too far or anything illegal, but I think what we should do is definitely show people, what these people are really about. And again, I could name drop some other people that I shouldn't, but a lot of what's been happening recently is a lot of people are getting screwed over by people like these people, and they're just so done with it. And I think that the more
it's
these
stand
people,
up for those people.
exactly, yep, I agree. And I think the more that we show our fearlessness, even though we do actually have a lot of concern with what's happening, that it will be infectious, and then people will start getting involved. Like you said, they'll be compelled the way that we have been compelled. I feel very compelled because in 2016, when all this, alt-right and all this happened, I saw the alt-right as a comedic critique of the left, right? But then all of a sudden it's no, everybody who has a critique of the left is exactly what they're doing now. You're a Yahtzee, you're this or that, let's dox you, get you fired, get your bank account stolen from you, get you divorced, take your kids away from you. So this has happened 10 years ago, right? And so a lot of people don't remember that, but obviously there was bad actors in the alt-right for sure. I know for a fact there were, but I think the average person who was interested in that movement were just normal people who were this is absurd, this is insane. You want to erase all of history. You want to pretend that everybody who doesn't have enough melanin is an evil devil demon person or something. It's it makes no sense. And then they cooled off for a few years. Now they're doing the exact same thing again. And I just cannot sit by and watch people fall into the trap. I cannot sit by and say that I didn't try to do anything,
That's right. I feel the exact same way. You articulated it perfectly. I had to just say that, what? I tried to fucking stand up and say, no, look, you fucking crazy people are not going to fucking destroy Western civilization without me saying something.
Mind you, these are the same people that destroyed the World War II graves in Washington.
Yeah.
You know what I think the other thing is, when the left goes up with their panels, they don't want to have their mind changed. When I go up to debate with someone to talk with them, my goal is to see it from their perspective and maybe learn something from it. Their goal is just lecture you on their morals, to lecture you on their let's say you're against immigration and call you a racist, bigot, all these things. Their goal is to actually give you information and explain how they think so you can see it from their perspective. Their goal is to just go up there and tear you down. And that's the thing they want us to give up. That's
why us doing this is important, because here's the thing. If a leftist person came in here right now and respected us and talked to us and tried to change our mind, we would probably listen to them, agree with them on a lot, and then they would leave with both of us grown from the situation, right? And if that happens enough, people will slowly start to change their minds and their behaviors in their personal lives, right? And I think that's and I've seen a lot of this on TikTok where people are like, oh yes, I'm a Yahtzee and I hate all people who are different colors than me, and F anybody who's an immigrant or what, they become a caricature and they, make people like us look exactly like what the left is claiming we are, which is a little bit too much of a coincidence for me personally. But I think that I think that's why us doing this is important, and doing it in a space where we can control it, because a lot of these panels, I'll tell you for a fact, they are literally there to gatekeep, and I mean that in the purest sense of the word. Like, they'll allow anything other than a reasonable conversation. Anything else is fine, but not a reasonable conversation. And I think people would be surprised of like how many of these influencers and panels and stuff are like literally some crazy drug-addled, academic person pretending to be a blue collar worker or whatever they're pretending to be, to basically deceive people, and probably getting paid not even a lot of money for it, to be honest with you. So yeah, I think that people needs to be exposed. I've been doing that for a couple of years on YouTube, where a lot of these right-wing people are pretending that they care about this stuff and they don't. And I've tried to expose that, and I've been called like, a leftist or something for that. And I'm really not. Like, it's just like, I don't like people, pretending to be something they're not. You know what I'm saying?
It's so easy
for
for me
one
to.
reason or another.
It's so easy for me to be like, oh, I'm a war vet, or I'm a millionaire. It's so easy for me to say that.
A lot, and that happens so much on both sides of this whole thing. And I think that's
100%.
why people are so black pilled, and look, there's plenty of reasons to be black pilled, but we still have to like not be black pilled. I think that's the hard part, for sure. And I think that's why I just won't participate in a lot of these other panels and stuff, even on TikTok and stuff, like with a lot of the right wing guys, because they're just so over the top, like everything's effed, and they're so emotional that they can't get outside of their own head and like think about the audience at the very least, right? Like, I have no idea who's watching this right now, right? So I'm trying to speak in a way that like anybody who comes in here can not be scared to like stick around. You know what I'm saying? Like, hopefully, at least,
make it more intriguing for them. But
well, no, we'll keep it
anyway,
up.
I'm gonna head to bed there.
Yeah,
I hope you guys have a good rest of your night.
No, y'all are welcome up here anytime. And look, we'll keep trying. I'm gonna keep trying. That's all I can do.
Appreciate you guys. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was nice talking to you.
Sorry, guys. We're in the same time period. Hold on. Insomnia, you should try magnesium glycinate. Yeah, I have that here. Yeah, I have like a magnesium that has all the magnesiums in it. I love magnesium. I would just have to, it's 3:54. Yeah, same time over here. Same time over here, Tracy. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Shaish. I'm sorry if I'm saying. Yeah, he was snow blowing the driveway and the front of the house, the sidewalk and everything before he tries to keep up with the snow. He was passing me the batteries to the snow blower. Excuse me. All right, guys. I'm going to say goodnight, and I'll be on tonight. I'll be back on Thursday night. And then Tracy, did you say that you've You filled out my event. It's free to come to my event on Saturday. It's a free event. I'm having a big live on Saturday. Oh, thank you. Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm doing my sister's makeover. If you
and robots is the epitome, the highest form of tools that can make your work and your productivity easier.
It's not really like capitalism. It's just the people that want better goods and services, and they want to work less. That's why, like the people are making the demand, and so the demand goes for automation. Like it's not really capitalism itself promoting. It's just capitalism gives freedom, and people choose what they want.
Well,
For example,
I mean, I think both of you guys have a good point, but I would say that like we're kind of disconnected from the like mechanics of both the economics and the technology itself, right? Like none of us can go like in our backyard and put together like an iPhone 16 or something, right? Like, you know, even with all the chat GPT and all this, like you need like labs, you need chemicals, you need, you know, access to certain things. So we're still like disconnected from the means of production, I guess you'd say, or whatever term you want to use, right?
but basically everything you're disconnected from. Like you can't build a house by yourself. It's like too much technology involved.
I think the means of when it comes to the means of production and what socialists and communists like to talk about, taking ownership of the means of production or whatever. I think when it comes to that, where we should really care about is the means of production for the essentials that we need to survive, and that could be the things that you could empower yourself to do is to basically grow your own food, for example, right? If you have a bit of soil in your front or backyard, why not grow a tree that grows an avocado tree or an orange tree or something like that. That is the most empowering form of means of production that every one of us can take.
Well, yes, but at the same time, like obviously you have this giant global economic system that's kind of like forcing, in some sense of the word, forcing everybody to be on technology, to be in the cities,
It's not true.
to have a job.
You have in America the highest rise in regenerative agriculture, which is based on intelligence in farming. Like, and it produces organic fruits and organic stuff while having good impacts on environment and making people get out of the cities. So, for example, you could develop lots of tech that would help.
Sure, we could, but we don't control the government. We don't control the economics. We don't
But the
control the
people who
technology.
create
Right?
technology are the private, not the government.
Right, but I'm saying like all you're really, and again, I'm not saying this to insult you at all, but all you're really saying is like, well, theoretically, if everybody agreed that we could do this, right? But the thing is, like, people are dumb, people are selfish.
No, because
yeah, but people are dumb, people are selfish, people don't care about these things.
What's good?
If you had if you imagine that you reach a point where you have so much tech and intelligence in farming that all the products you create that are organic and well good for the environment are cheaper than the monocultures. Don't you think that the people will start buying organic stuff?
I mean, theoretically,
I think as Americans, I mean,
theoretically,
we got to reconsider all our values.
Well, but it's what's happening. Like you're moving
Our entire what we value here as a majority of being American. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is the as a whole? You know what I'm saying? Because infrastructure, agriculture, that's all important, but we have to get down to the core of the problem, which could be technology, it could be war conflict, it could be. We need to discover all that again. You know, I believe. Right. I mean, because now, like
it's still just like true though. Like we actively live in like the most prosperous, safe, cleanest time in human history, and I think it's because essentially free market principles, capitalism. We introduced the world to essentially the new world. There's a reason every country essentially has in some sense become westernized, like, and it's
Right,
because of these
but
so
and,
just throwing it away
and
is
you're
like,
not wrong. You're not wrong in that, but also like at what cost, right? And again, like I'm not saying this as like a leftist or something. I'm saying this as just like a general thing of like the culture and the like, you know, the empire of technology and economics that we exist in, right? You know, it's kind of erased people's identities, right? Like everybody's just a worker, everybody's just a laborer, and now even that's being taken away from us.
In a sense, I believe so, because there's a lot of cultures that are more like indigenous, but this country was built on capitalism, and that's why this whole nation was based like kind of. I mean, we're not Americans are not indigenous, like founding fathers, you know, but you know, like
Well, I mean,
we cannot go back
in a
to that.
long enough timeline, nobody's indigenous, right? Obviously, right? Like
Obviously, yeah,
everybody's,
of course.
yeah. So, and again, I'm not saying that to like dismiss, you know, indigenousness or whatever, but this is the debate that's raging in the country right now about like, well, this is stolen land, so therefore let's bring 6 billion people to America to make them all free or something. It's like,
No.
it pretends that America is like a magic dirt. In the
but
same way
it's
that we pretend that
that's
like
the thing,
technology is
though,
going to
like,
equal the playing
Well, that's
field.
what they
when you say
tell to
we're
the next
just
generation, to
workers,
their
it's
children.
like that's always been the case. Like people used to have children because it meant more labor. Like the notion that we're somehow like more bowed down or in any sense like abused by capitalism is just not true. Like any like
Yo,
rational human,
I gotta
I believe.
disagree with that. I gotta disagree with. I don't think more kids were made for labor. I just think people wanted to have more sex.
no, that
Right?
used to be the case. People used to have
study.
more
There's a
children
study.
because it was free labor. That's how farming.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean, but
that's
not
that's
everyone
how
was
it
farming, though,
worked.
right? Was everyone farming?
A lot
of them in the West. Nah, go look at the stats, right?
Well, look at the
Even
wars.
like,
That I mean, I think wars are so profitable that if you look at after
Right.
World War II was the baby boomers, you know. So
right, but
Yeah,
go look
because the
at the
world became more
1800s,
safe.
right? It was like 10% where everyone was farming. We still had 90% of jobs that were not farming. So I don't know what you're talking about.
There's studies that have studied this where in which as societies develop, there's 4 stages of population growth. The farming stage is where farmers have 8 children because they need more farm hands. The second stage is in that first stage, a lot of those children die because of the lack of medical technologies. The second
That is
stage
true. That is true.
is when they're still having a lot of children, but now the medical technologies are at a point where all of them survive, and it's too many children, right?
it's too many. Yeah,
Well,
it's over like
hold on.
population.
more
I mean,
wealthy
But why are
society
they? But why are
becomes, the
they
less
trying to tell
children
everybody to
a
stop having
society has.
kids, and then all the smartest people stop having kids? Though
This is a natural progression. No one is telling anyone.
But it's not.
This is something that happens
But it's
by
no.
itself.
It's not natural though.
It
They're
is. No
literally
one told
telling.
anyone to
Hold
do
on.
anything.
They're literally propagandizing young women to hate men, to never want to have children.
But
No.
even if there's
With millions
propaganda, there's
and
still
billions of
unexpected.
dollars.
This is a result of a dystopian society that we
Listen,
live in right
listen,
now.
you're not going. Hold on,
SD,
hold on,
this
hold on,
is
hold on. Wait,
this is
hold on,
the
hold on.
incel mentality. Tell
the
me
result of
who's
public
saying that?
schooling,
Who's saying that?
Public school.
Hold on. No, like, look, you could turn on any
Government
social
school.
media right now and look at any woman under the age of 50, and they're almost all saying men are trash, don't have kids, sex is bad unless it's with a woman.
Your algorithm. That's probably your algorithm.
I mean,
When
it
I
is
go
just
on
factually
Instagram,
true
I don't
that,
see
that
that.
women are
A lot
having
of
less
women, a lot of
kids.
my women
It's
when I
just a fact.
Hey, the women I
Okay,
talk
so
to,
listen,
they want to
listen,
have kids,
listen,
bro. I don't
listen.
know what you're talking
exactly,
about.
and they
wanna
can't
have
find a
kids.
man. That's what I see
It's
too.
just statistically true that women are having less kids and they're having them quicker.
Well, they're
Right. So
having less
hold
kids
on,
because
hold on, hold
the
on.
economy
You guys
sucks.
are being dishonest now because you're. Hold on,
I
you guys
agree
are
with this.
denying that people are spending billions of dollars to propagandize women worldwide to be educated and not have children. Are you going to literally sit here and deny that?
No, we can agree with that,
It's been
but we
proven.
believe that the main problem is not
It's
that.
been
We believe
proven.
that
It's been proven in
Look,
third
if
world
you don't want to have
countries.
kids, that's on you.
I'm sorry.
But why are you telling? But why are you
I
going to
want a
pretend that it's not
source.
an issue?
I
It's
want a
been-
source right now that there's
We
a
apparently got a
propaganda,
woman on
right? That women are telling like not to have kids.
It's
I want a
called
source right now.
worldwide public education.
I don't want
worldwide
Instagram.
public
I want a
education.
source. Show me
It's been
worldwide
studies.
public
proven.
education.
Show me
The
proven
I'm sorry,
source
research
is
on
that
this.
they're having less kids That's the proof.
Because here's the thing. Let me tell you why
education
women
for
don't want to
women
have kids right
is-
now.
is
There's a
different.
couple of
Ace give his
factors.
opinion.
There's a couple of
Oh,
factors.
so they
right?
are.
Bring it
So
back,
it's
Joe.
true,
Bring it back.
Ace. Which is
No, but what is not true? What is not true?
And
is
how's that an
there's this
incel? How's that
propaganda
about
that
incel?
that
How's that
women
about
don't want to be
whoa, whoa,
with
whoa?
men.
How's that an
All right?
incel mentality? If it's
That's totally incel. All right, now hold on.
and what's wrong? Okay, so what's wrong with
Hold on.
incels then, Ace?
All right.
What's wrong with
So
incels?
number one,
why are you using an NGO talking point? Why are you using a think tank talking
so
point?
SB, you're just
Are you
gonna
working?
overtalk. You're not gonna have
because
a
you're a
conversation,
liar.
right?
Are
'Cause you're
you
losing the
working for a
argument. You
think
just
tank?
want to
Ace?
start over talking.
Are you working for Are you working for a think
Exactly.
tank?
Let me talk, bro.
Are
Stop,
you
stop
funded by a
crashing
think
out.
tank? Are you
Stop
funded by a
crashing
think
out,
tank?
bro. Are you a conspiracy
Are
nut
you?
job?
Ace,
Do you
how
think
is
the
it?
earth is flat,
Ace,
SB?
how
Are
is
you one
if
of
it
those?
is
You
true
think the
that
earth
they're
is flat?
having less kids? How is
Keep
it
going.
not
You're
really
revealing yourself.
propaganda?
Please keep talking,
All right,
Ace.
buddy.
Keep going, buddy.
You're really
Keep going.
melting down, buddy. Really
No,
melting
no,
down.
no. I'm not. I see through you. I see through you, Ace. Continue, please.
So number one, the number one reason why women are not having kids right now is biology. If you go look at the research biologically, women are having more miscarriages, right? We know that. We already
That's
know
just
that.
factually wrong.
It's getting harder for women to
Oh my
conceive.
God.
Earlier. All right. It's getting harder to get conceived. We all know that as well. Infertility is going up.
Why? Why? Okay. Why is
number
that?
two.
Why is that?
Number
Hold on.
two.
Why is that? Why is that?
Quiet, SV. Don't melt down. Don't melt down.
Oh, I'm not melting down.
You're totally melting down, bro. You don't let
you're
people
not
talk.
where's
Don't
your
let
evidence
people
for
talk.
that? Where's your evidence for that?
My
Where's your
evidence
evidence
is
for that?
Oxford.
Where's your evidence for that?
Oxford University. You know what that is?
Are you a white supremacist? Is that why you're using Oxford?
Oh, there we go.
SV, it's been proven that it's been proven that in third
shut up and let the others
it's been proven that in especially in third
I
world,
thought Ace was a serious guy.
especially in third world countries where you can probably measure this a bit more accurately. Women, females, girls have better educational outcomes just for the mere fact that they are less prone to ADHD behavior, right? Like little kids, boys.
Are you talking
All right,
about?
so wait, okay,
can't sit
hold on,
still.
hold on.
Boys
Let's
can't
assume
sit
that you're
still.
correct. Let's
Psychotic.
assume that you're correct.
You're
Are you
psychotic.
saying? Hold on. Are you right? Are you?
Women
So
are
you're making.
progressing
Hold on. So you're making the
in
argument. Hold on.
education
I want to
for a
make sure I
reason.
understand your argument. I want to make sure I understand your. Are
Yeah,
you
go
saying that it? Are you saying that it's a given fact that it's better for women to be publicly educated in the way that we're doing it now versus all of human history? Is that what you're saying right now?
Biologically speaking, they are better at us at sitting down and learning and not being like little shits in school. That's it.
So you
That's
hate
biological
males
speaking.
because we can't sit in. Hold on. So you hate men because we can't sit in
I don't
school and
hate.
learn. Is that what you're saying?
I don't hate. Why do you have this narrative of hate? Why do you have this narrative of hate? Like I don't
Dude,
hate
because
anyone.
his life was miserable. He's all about hate, right?
Why-
You gotta understand
Because you
that.
guys are
this narrative.
dishonest and you're revealing yourself. Please keep
We're
going.
dishonest. We're
You're painting a
dishonest.
narrative.
We're dishonest when you can't pull up a source. SV, let me ask you something. All right.
I go
Can
ahead.
you
Ask
tell
me a
me
question.
right
Ask
now?
me a question, man. Go ahead. Go
All right,
ahead.
all right, buddy. Don't make a fool out of yourself. All right. Can you tell me right now how many amendments there are in our Constitution?
Yeah, about 457, I think.
Exactly,
Last time I
buddy. Yeah, acting real smart, my guy. You're exposing yourself, right? That you are another
Go ahead
uneducated
and
person,
make a point rather
right?
You're the one that
than
quoted
do the
Oxford,
semantics
my
game.
guy.
Just make a
My
point.
point is you don't know what you're talking about,
fucking
bro.
said
You don't know what the
Oxford.
fuck you're talking
Okay,
about.
I'm
You're not
talking
even
about
listening to
women's
Eric.
education
You're
versus
not
all
even
human
listening
history,
to
and
what
you're
Eric is
asking me
trying to
about
say.
how many
You're just melting
amendments
down.
in the
You don't know what the
Constitution
hell
there
you're
are.
talking
What is
about.
that? It's a non
Just let
sequitur.
me
Explain
give
why
my
it's not a non sequitur.
As
let me give
technology
my
gets,
opinion, please. Let me
go
give
for
my
it.
opinion.
Go for it.
So I think that we have lower birth rates because the government has nationalized education, and we have a stupid educational system where instead of you having an education like that is turned to the market, which means that companies would like have a bigger role in the education and you getting out and working,
Bro,
just like
you
they have in
sound like you need
Switzerland.
government education.
Let
I think
me
it's
finish.
5G technology
Just
and all the
like
cell
in
phones we have in our
Switzerland,
pockets making
where
us
they
stroke.
have companies that finance the
Exactly,
last
Marco.
years of school, and you like start working as part-time and study at the same time, and after 3 years you already have money and you already have a
Right.
course. So
And
if you let me speak, man. If you had the companies in education, and if you had a free market education with like individual teachers, small schools, bigger schools, or etc., that would appear by itself, and innovation coming. You would have a much earlier finishing of school, because most of time in school and universities is wasted time, and funded universities with quotas by government that incentivize people to go to courses that have no
You're
job
overcomplicating it, though.
offers.
You're
Because, no, let
overcomplicating
me
it.
finish. And then you have woman ending university at 25, which so like
Yeah. Okay.
almost in the end of
Let me
their-
explain the
their-
gap in
no,
your.
let me finish my point, and then you.
I'm sorry. I thought you were done, buddy. Come on. Get to the point.
Women get out very late from the university, and then they're only then like trying to pursue their careers, and then after pursuing their careers, they want to have kids after they meet a guy at 30.
He's just saying they have no
the
time.
fertility is already very low, and they have not
Exactly.
much time to have kids and create a family. Also, besides that point,
Literally
I
proving our
think that
point.
governments are growing in all societies after they've been kept mostly free markets.
Right.
And we are seeing, for example, in housing, lots of zoning laws and coding laws that don't let people
Okay,
build
you're like
houses as
just
they want,
convoluting everything
and don't
now
let
at
the
this point.
people build.
I heard
less
about
houses.
it.
Okay,
And
so
that
you're
creates very
proving your
hard-
point. So let me redirect, because it's just proving your point. Okay, so the point is this: like, you're a capitalist, right? So like, why do they bring half the population on the earth into the workforce? Oh, because it's cheaper labor, right? So like,
No, it's
that's the
not
whole
because
point.
it's cheaper labor, it's because it's
Yeah.
the labor that
If you
exists.
double the if you double the workforce and accelerate technology, how is it not
If you're a capitalist,
cheapening labor?
why are you afraid of competition?
Because you
for your
still have the
job?
same quantity of goods and services per capita.
I'm
which
not a
means that the
capitalist,
labor is
so
still-
I don't know what you're
the
talking
labor,
about. Go ahead.
The labor is still productive,
Good to
and
know.
so the competition is still high. So if
Actually, it's
you
higher.
have more
It's higher
people,
production.
if you have more people, you also have more companies. Did you know that? And what matters is the wage per capita, the
But some
goods and
ca- yeah, some-
services.
some
There's
companies-
always been the
You're-
same amount
you're
of
not
work
saying
being
This
done.
anything.
is like
Point is
some
so ridiculous.
1900s capitalism.
I'm not
like
saying
some
anything that you
bullshit,
understand
old-ass
because you're not
capitalism.
very high.
The point
Well,
the point
they
of the
literally
matter
proved
the point
our
of the matter
point.
is, I don't think, how many of you guys have worked hard labor work?
Let's go back to the
Can I ask-
female
no, 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 hold on,
education
hold on,
thing.
hold
You're
on.
How
changing
is
the
that
subject
relevant,
way
No, no,
off
no,
bro?
this
base.
is
Let's
this
stick
is
to the
important.
female
No,
This is
no,
important
let
education.
him,
part of the
let,
subject.
let
We'll
Sheen,
stick to the
let
point.
Sheen talk about what he wants to talk about. All right, buddy?
How about you
Let him
shut
talk.
up, Ace? Nobody asked for your opinion on anything.
Actually,
Well,
actually,
how about-
people
how
want to
about
hear
you
from
stay
Sheen,
on
my guy.
topic?
All right,
People
Sheen,
want to
go
hear
for
from
Stay
him.
on topic about
No one,
Ace,
no
women.
one wants
the
to
whole-
listen
the
to your
whole
ramblings,
point-
bro.
about
You've been
women not
rambling for
having time.
hours, and no
whole
one
point-
cares what you got to say.
The whole point is that these
SB, bro, you're just making a fool out of yourself, bro. Go to sleep. Go to sleep, baby. Go to sleep.
SB, SB, you're gonna
Yeah,
have
so
to.
the whole
Three,
point
two,
was
one,
that
go.
these things were pointing,
July.
it was incentivizing and essentially pointing women towards career rather than family. So it's like, yeah, of course, like this essentially made birthing rates decline because women prioritize career over family overwhelmingly in my generation. There's even, I can't remember, I can pull it up if everyone freaks out about where I'm getting it from, but there's been polls on essentially that women, it's almost last on their list on having kids in a family.
That's
and
exactly
it's
right. There's some people
overwhelmingly
who don't even
higher.
care for families.
So it's
I
like,
mean,
yeah, like it's not that there was like a
Not to
direct
mention the fact
propaganda
that once you're
campaign that
over
made,
30,
I'm
once
almost
you're over
done.
25,
There
your
wasn't
brain
a
structure
direct
changes.
propaganda campaign that was like, women stop having kids or stop
Right.
being in family or don't
Yep.
support the nuclear family. It's just
Exactly.
that there's been
Individual
essentially
choices.
through like economics and honestly, essentially towards.
I wouldn't call
just
it
the-
economics.
just the
It's more
full-on-
social engineering.
Well, sure, yes, that's a good.
Well,
Economics
and I
is
think-
social
but it's like,
engineering.
that's the
Well,
Hold
and
on,
I think
economics
there's-
is social engineering, though. That's
call
the
it what
point.
you want.
No, not
Women-
not
women
from
were
not from the
pointed towards
standpoint
career
that
instead of family, and it's just
not
a
from the
fact.
standpoint that you push them. Once you push them over 25, your brain structure changes, your social status changes. You know, you
Right.
become an adult and blah blah blah. Like, you know, if you have a child before 25, it's pretty likely the likelihood of you having more is kind of like, you know, because once you have a child and you're a mom, I think you'd have more. But after 30, you know, your whole
very unlikely.
life outlook change. Yeah,
It's
your
hard.
whole,
It's
like,
hard to
it's-
have kids
it's
after
social-
30
it's
for
social
men and
I
women.
have
engineering.
that one.
But I wouldn't blame I don't know, I wouldn't blame capitalism, or I wouldn't blame like
Well, again, I'm not saying
I
that's
wouldn't
capitalism's fault per se, but what I'm saying is that they obviously doubled the workforce in the last 150 years by bringing women into the workforce worldwide and making them economic units in a global capitalist quote unquote system, right? So like, how is that not going to change the way that human beings behave in a sexual manner and in
But
a
schools
reproductive
are
manner?
not free market schools. Schools are all from government. Everything.
Oh my God,
They're
dude.
socialized.
Yeah,
Women were always educated.
neither
What are you
is
talking
so.
about? There's
So
nothing-
neither is corporate. The corporate structure is also not really free market because it's guess what?
Yeah,
Chartered
I
by the
wouldn't
government,
blame-
right?
people to finish
I
school
wouldn't
at
blame
18. Is it
schools
the market?
either,
It's
but
not the
because
market that's demanding
it's
the people to finish school so
no, I
late.
wouldn't blame
It's
schools
literally
either
the government.
because you finish school by 22, right? If you get your bachelor's, like I wouldn't blame schools that much.
But the point is, like, women wouldn't be. Most women wouldn't choose to go work a corporate job till they're 55 years old before they decide to have a kid, right? Like,
Imagine
it's not a
you
natural
start
way to
working
live
at
life.
16, and then at 22 you
I
already
think-
have
I
enough
think-
money to start a
I think
family.
feminism-
Isn't it
I
different
think
to have than to have like that?
the issue.
Yes, there's
Or-
the
or-
feminist movement. That's correct. That's why this happened.
I think you
Okay,
guys
I don't
don't.
think
You guys
this
don't.
whole-
You guys aren't taking into account that when people were having children at 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 is a good cutoff age. But when people were having children before 25, what ended up happening was that we saw a huge rise of divorces once they reached 40 to 50 years old. So to me, I think it's weight. Is there or is there not a divorce epidemic happening across societies?
Yeah, but how you're saying
My
this is
parents divorced
related
when
to
I was
people-
18.
You're saying this is related to people having kids younger. Like,
Yes,
which-
it totally
which is ridiculous.
It 100% is. You're not even emotionally. You're not even emotionally mature to pursue a relationship that requires.
Well, I think Eric makes a good point. If you're talking about like a single mother who then marries, right? Like who had like a kid at 16 or 17. I think at that point, like you're not emotionally stable, your brain's not really there. And at that point, it does make sense that like, you know, they have like a divorce 20 years later. So
which is
Yeah, but I mean, well, hold on. Are you really worried
which is
about that?
better,
Though?
having-
Is that
having
really your
kids
biggest
after
concern in the
It
world
really
right
is.
now?
It has a
I would
better.
not say it's
the
the
same
biggest
thing.
concern
That's
right
so
now. To be honest, bro, come on. Divorce epidemic is not the biggest concern because people
Okay,
are
so
gonna
why are you
change,
bringing it up
right?
then?
I brought it
Why
up.
are you bringing it
People
up?
are
I
gonna
brought it up.
change.
I brought it up
What's
because it has a detrimental effect on children's development. If
It
you
does, it
if
does.
you
Oh
are
my
raising
God!
children,
You
if you are
said it's
raising
20
children,
years after the fact. How's it going to be
Yeah,
detrimental in their
Oh,
development?
yeah,
If it's 20 years after the fact, dude.
do you think it happens from one day to the next? Like there's all sorts
Oh
of.
my God,
Dude,
dude,
what are
this is
you talk-
ridiculous.
Eric,
You're
what are
totally
you
being
talking
absurd.
about?
Oh my God, we need to protect people's mental health above all. So like, let's just not have any kids until we're 45 years old because maybe by then we'll
Not 45.
be
Come on.
fully developed or
Well, it's
something.
just
I
like
mean,
Depends
dude,
on,
your
on
point,
the maturity
Eric,
too.
doesn't
Like,
make
I mean,
sense.
you don't want to be a young
I
parent. Some people might-
every single time I get on TikTok and I ask someone's age and they say 21, 22, it literally sounds like I'm talking to a fucking child, dude. It's
Yeah,
like
I wouldn't
you're
date
not
no
even
girl
mature
that's
enough to
You're not
have
making any
to have a
coherent
full
points.
understanding of the
What are
world,
you talking
much
about?
much less
old
have
are
a
you, bro?
fucking child.
History, we had kids from
So
17 to 22. That's
Yeah,
Are,
but
are- wait,
fuck-
are you
fuck that
are
shit.
you
I'm not.
are you guys anti-natalist though, or is that what you're trying to get at? Like you hate people having kids, or what? Is that
No,
what
I
you're trying to
want
get at?
I want
what if
people
you
to have kids
compare
responsibly.
one
I want
family,
people to have
one
kids
family that
responsibly.
started when she
Well,
was 35 and one family that started when she was 20. Like that's irrelevant. I don't know.
No, it's
Like
actually
I don't
relevant,
think
bro. It's really relevant because between 20 and
I don't
25,
think
there's a lot of difference there, to be honest.
It
There's
is,
a lot.
yeah.
in
So I got to
hormones and you
disagree
have
with
more
that,
kids.
Teresa. When you're 20, you're probably still living in your parents' house, right? You're probably not paying for your bills, right?
Still a kid, bro.
You're still a kid. Your brain's not there. And then when you're 25, you got to deal with everything on your own. So it's like a totally different era of your life. So I got to disagree with that, Teresa. I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
So, should 20-year-olds not vote if they're so dumb?
I
Well, you're
actually,
young.
dude, I actually think we
Exactly.
should raise the voting age, to be honest. I think we should. I think we should make it 25. I think that's where our
Unless you're-
country's
Everything
going
but not
downhill.
have kids.
Because if you
But
go
it's
look
just
at the
like-
last
Well, the
election,
brain is still
it was,
developing at 20.
if you go look at the last election, it was Gen Z that got Donald Trump the election. Go look at it, right? It was Gen Z and especially male, right? Men. And had they been 25 and not 18, they probably would have not gone for Trump. Because I got so many friends now that are like 21,
Gen Z,
22.
for some reason, is into politics. So, I mean,
And
politicians are scared of
I
this
know a
generation.
lot of people that are
Younger
21,
people are more
22, and
liberal.
they are
What are you
regretting their
talking
votes
about,
so
dude?
bad.
What are
So
you
bad.
talking about?
No, all I'm saying is I think the age gap between 20 and 35 doesn't matter. The system is such that it's just not encouraging women to have kids, and like that.
And it's on
doesn't
purpose.
matter.
It's not just like a
Yeah,
natural
that's my
outcome
point.
of what's happening. It's like
Yeah,
people
it's
naturally are
more
gonna
deliberate.
have sex and have
It's more
kids
deliberate.
naturally, but
Don't
they're
you guys think it's
deliberately telling
because-
people don't do that, obviously.
Don't you think it's because we lost most of the biblical values that we had in the West?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That also is not being done like just by accident. They're literally doing everything they can to destroy Christianity among other religions as well. Like they're
But
just
don't you think, for example, if we had private schooling, many parents that were Christians would send their kids to Christian schools?
There's not enough money.
And now we
for
have
the
government
average person.
monopolies on schooling. That
yeah.
is
Look,
always
I
what-
mean, I'm not a big fan of like public school in general. That's kind of my point against Ace and Eric is like, well, they're just like, well, it's really good that we have public education worldwide for women. And I'm saying, look, I'm not saying women shouldn't be educated, but what I'm saying is like the way we're going about it is making them unhappy, bitter, and men too. Like it's they're trying to force
Well,
people to
public
be something they're
schooling is-
not naturally,
I
right?
think
It's the
that if
government's
we-
agenda applied to the students who go to these schools. You know.
I think
Yeah,
if
you
we
have to
had a
understand
free
that
market,
when you
we would have choice.
when your
and
muscles
parents would be responsible.
when your
Between the
muscles as
right
a
and the
man
left.
when your muscles as a man becomes irrelevant to make a living, that's when society changes. Unfortunately, that's what technology does. You can make a living without your muscles, and in the past it was your muscles that created wealth for
I
your
mean, you're
family.
literally arguing for
listen to
UBI.
you.
So, like, what difference would it make to you then? I mean, it's like if we're just, I'm not saying that I'm against
You just
UBI,
gotta
but what I'm
adapt
saying
to
is
the
like,
times, my guy. You gotta
Work
adapt to
smarter,
the
not harder.
times.
okay,
No,
but
that's
look,
facts,
so
Eric.
so so
We
if the
gotta- we
times
gotta
call
get
for
UBI,
hold on,
bro.
if the times call for us to be like genderless, creatures that live underground and have an IQ of 80, is that okay or what? I mean, like, where do we?
That's crazy, bro. That's
If
crazy.
the times
Hey.
call for Aryan superior race,
That was
should we
dark.
follow that?
I'm sorry. Who is genderless living underground again?
Well, that's what this guy is saying. Is like we just got to
SV.
adapt to the times until we're all just
The
like
mole
not even
man.
human. Essentially, is like that's kind of what I'm trying to get at.
What nonsense are you all
The
talking?
mole man.
It's such nonsense.
All right,
And who was
SV,
the
SV,
gentleman
let
that
me
you
ask
just
you
came in
something.
here?
Let me ask
Are
you
you all
something.
going to
All right?
jump in, or are you going to
Let
have
the
good
peasants
manners
talk.
and let an elder talk?
Well, you just
There
jumped
There
in
we
here
go.
and you had
Now
no
let's be
idea what was
good
being
and let's
talked
let
about.
other
It's
people
so
speak.
ridiculous.
Well, I respect the order.
Let the peasants talk.
Yeah, so if you respect me, then you'll let me talk. Yeah, can I go? So
Give your
which
opinion,
one of
peasant.
you said women are unhappy because they're educated?
SV.
Why are we unhappy? What are you talking about? Do you
He
know
didn't, he
anything?
didn't say
the
because
wrong
of
type of
education. He said
education,
because
like, it's
you're
not-
He
ending.
did. No, he
not
did.
about
He said
education.
that
I
it's
said
not
the way.
natural.
I said the way we are being educated. I didn't say because
Sweetheart,
of
I
education.
recorded you. You said
No,
they're not happy.
hope you go
because
back
it's
and
not
play it
na-
back
there
what I
we're
said
all-
there.
See, you don't have good manners, any of you, do you?
Yeah,
You're all
you just jumped in
Because
here
you're
and you
saying
don't
something
know
I
what's being
didn't say.
talked
I
about,
said
peasant.
the way we are educating women.
And how is that? Please tell me. Go on. I
Well,
apologize.
you're an unhappy woman. Why don't you tell
smart
us?
enough
You're
to
unhappy.
know
Why don't
if
you
that I
tell us?
made a mistake.
Oh.
I'm
You're
wondering if
unhappy.
you guys
Why don't
are,
you
or do
tell
you
us?
just keep interrupting.
You
So,
are
okay,
unhappy. You
Ace,
tell us.
In what way is that, darling? Which way is that?
Me?
Yeah, you're the one who said it, right?
No.
It was SV.
No, it's
Dude, peasant, I mean,
It's just
Well, you're
evident.
all
It's
lighting
an
up and
evident. It's
yelling at an
evident.
old
We were
lady.
just talking about
So,
this for
you
15
know,
minutes.
clearly
peasant,
it's hard
peasant.
to work out which one
Peasant.
of you
It was
you are.
SV. All right. And
Who
Just
said
She has
it
no
then?
idea what's going on.
peasant,
It's
hold on, hold on,
One of you.
peasant, hold on a sec. All right. Hold
No,
on
I
a
have
sec.
every idea. Okay, I'll hold on. Go on.
All right. So SV said it right on the panel, right? And you got to listen to what he said because I will give him that. Like he did not say what you're saying. He did say, right? What he's trying
What
to
did he
say.
say?
What he's trying to say. I'll actually let him speak. Go ahead, SV.
Yeah, what I said was that I said the way we are educating women is not conducive to normal human life, where people
Okay, tell
get
me
married
what
and
we
have
need to do
children
then. What
and
does that mean?
live in a semi-agrarian lifestyle, or something akin to that, right? Like we're all being forced to live like
What
corporate.
do you mean? What does that?
Okay, well, you're not gonna let me speak. So you're an unhappy so you're an unhappy woman. Tell me how you being
I am
educated
not
has made you so unhappy.
sweetheart. I speak 4 languages. I've been to 65 countries. I have 2 beautiful children. I've had a fantastic life. I'm
All right,
brilliant. I love
but
this
you
couple.
don't want
Crush on
that
myself.
for your kids.
What are you,
peasant? You don't want that for your kids. You want it for yourself. You're feeding your kids
I want what
the
for
wrong
myself?
things.
What do I want for myself?
No, how old were you when you got married?
What?
Hey,
when
Teresa, bro,
when
what are
you
you
had
talking
kids.
about, bro?
What difference does it make? I would
When
like
you
to
had
address
kids,
the
how
guy
old were you?
SV and have him tell us what is it that we're doing wrong educating women.
No, I think Teresa.
For your kids. 15 minutes. This is so ridiculous.
Peasant,
I think peasant. You got to
The minute
understand
I say
something.
anything they
Peasant.
can't answer, every
Peasant.
one of them has got to pipe
Peasant.
up
He's
and
not.
say,
He's
"Oh,
not talking
lady,
about all women, right?
hilarious."
Hold up, base.
No, answer the question.
Peasant, hold on. You're not gonna get an answer for him, but I do want to ask you a question because I agree with you that you've lived a full life and you found a balance between your family life, which was your children, and actually living a fulfilled life
No,
of
I
visiting
had a full life, and
right.
then I had
So-
children.
So I have a question. I have a couple questions for you. Couple questions for you. So did you go to university?
I have a PhD. Yes.
What did you hold up, Marco. What did you study?
Oh, shit.
Well, initially I did a double major in writing and economics. Then I did my master's in international negotiation. Then I did my PhD on how language affects men differently than it affects women.
Interesting. And how old were you when you had your children?
38 and 40.
Interesting. And
But
they
not everybody's
also
like
have
you. Not everybody's.
they
a
also
high
have careers.
performer. That's-
Hold up, Teresa. So
Thank
do
you.
they have careers of their own?
They certainly do.
Okay. Would you say that they're pretty well established?
They're very well established. Yeah.
Okay. And by when did you
And I
start
brought them up on
traveling?
my own.
Oh,
'Cause their
nice.
dad died.
Do you represent the average? No, you don't. You're
Yeah, I do.
you're
Yeah,
more of the
totally.
All right,
higher
peasant.
performer.
Let me ask you the question this way, right? Because I think I know what they're trying to ask. So if we were to do a survey today, right? You know what I'm saying? And if we were to ask all women that are working corporate jobs, what percentage of them are happy? What do you think the response is going to be?
I think instead of discussing it with lots of other men like you're doing, you should ask women.
No, I'm asking
I
you. Right? That's
literally
what I'm
was
asking
counsel.
you. I'm asking
I was
you right
the
now.
counsel for the president of Ecuador.
No, I
was
get
the
that, but
counsel for the king of Spain.
no, peasant, you're missing my question though. If
how-
we were
No,
to do a
I'm
survey,
answering you.
do not
Women are
represent-
happy.
hold on,
Just
Teresa.
don't
Hold on a
answer
sec,
me.
buddy. Hold on. If we were to do a poll, right, Teresa? I mean, peasant, on women and what percentage
Yeah.
of them are happy with their corporate jobs, right?
It would be a massive percentage. Look.
Also,
Really?
that's a
No,
bad Ace. That's a
no.
bad question. You can't ask her to answer that question.
No.
for-
And here's
for-
why I asked her
for
that.
all
Here's why I
women.
asked
That's
her
a
that.
ridiculous
Do you want me
question,
to
Ace.
explain
No,
what's
here's why,
happening
here's why.
here? Can I explain what's happening here?
Because
I'm
go
not
look at the
answering
go
the
look at the
question
data,
the way
Ace,
you
Ace,
like.
right? Go look at the data, peasant. It's not looking too good right now.
Well,
No,
64% of women are not happy. Are not happy.
Is all I believe in. I don't believe, trust me, bro, data. You
What was your
never let
PhD
women
in?
on your life. Here we go. Look, I've said something now, and at least 2 of you boys are shouting at me.
What was your
Then
PhD?
let me
Because you
give-
can't listen.
Let me give real
Little
data
boys
and
need to
opinions
do
that
what
make
they're
sense.
told.
Let me give a
And
full
you
data.
don't like that.
That's kind of hot
The
the way you said
world
that. I'll
has
be honest.
changed, exponentially since 1973 when women were given access to their money. We have included everyone, and you boys don't like it.
What's your
And
PhD
you're
in?
having
No,
a
we're
tantrum.
just-
It's
We're
not.
not
That's
talking
what's
about what we
happening in
like
the
or not. We're
world.
talking about
My
low-
speech is done
low
here.
infant rate.
Praise you. You are the first bunch of dickheads that didn't
What?
fucking ban me.
Hold up, peasant. Hey, hold up,
No,
peasant.
no, you're not the authority over me. Fuck off.
Wow.
She literally just came up here and lied about her education. Clearly,
No,
a degree
no,
in
no, no,
writing
no. No, Sheen, stop.
doesn't even make sense.
Sheen, stop. that have had an impact in the world, that have had an impact in the world.
And
So-
thank God, thank God,
She
thank
doesn't
God.
represent the majority. If she was a man, she would be
Hold
a
on.
high-performing man.
No, I just want
She's
to. I
not,
just want to
like-
say thank you
it's
to
not
her
the
for her
point.
service and in the service of the Queen and country, for making all the women around the world bitter like you. I appreciate it. It's been awesome.
She's lived a full life, my guy. She doesn't need your approval or your.
Okay, well, you've already
like-
been talking, so let me talk to Peasant now. So, Peasant, what is your deal? Like, okay, so you're saying like, what are you trying to say exactly? You're saying that education is good
We're
and
not
stuff.
talking
for
bad
women?
about women. What we're talking about.
I'm
is the
not talking
reasons
bad
for
about
low-
her. I'm trying
for
to
low
understand what she's
mortality
saying
rates,
because she just
for-
called us all.
low birth rates.
She's just went straight
I'm not
to saying
talking
bad
you
words to us because we're men.
You are a big car, small dick, little boy who's never made a woman come in your
Well,
life.
a PhD
You've
to say all
never
that,
made
huh?
a woman
Wow.
come in your life. You don't get to make choices. You don't
Wow.
like my language. Shall I control my decorum?
So,
Am
so
I
we
not
live.
feminine
So we
enough for
live in
you?
a
I don't give a
gynocracy.
fuck. You've
So,
got a
so,
tiny
so you
dick.
want a
That's
gynocracy
what
of
makes
people like
so
you, right?
angry.
Peasant,
So you,
I
I'm not
hope you
angry.
have
I'm
the
very
day you
happy.
deserve.
So
I
listen.
hope ICE come and find you, you small dick little prick.
Well, don't worry.
How's
If they
that?
do, they'll send me back to your country since that's where my homeland is, right? So.
Your account can't even be
Hey man,
found
let me
because you're a
handle this
fucking
because
nobody.
clearly you can't
I'm
handle a woman.
blocking
Let me
you.
handle
Hold
this.
on. I just want to
Let
say
me
one more
handle
word
this,
to you.
please.
I just want to say one more word to her. I mean, because I can barely understand her. Actually, I forgot it. Go ahead.
We
You're
were
good.
talking about birth rates being low. We were talking about the reasons for that. We're not talking about women in general being this or that they should be or not educated. We were talking about political systems.
My guy, are you in a
and the
cave?
incentives for having higher birth rates or lower birth rates. So I don't know why she came here and started saying all that. We were
Well,
just
she was
trying to
probably
have
just trolling, honestly.
a
but
logical
it was a
conclusion
good
of
troll.
why. So let me just finish my conclusion. I think if the markets and the schools were managed by companies, it would happen like in Switzerland, where most of the job force goes out already with the course very early and already with lots of money, because most of them have trade schools where they start at 18 and finish at 22, and they already get paid while they're studying these 3 or 4 years, and they get out already to a company because the companies are also financing the schooling. And so if men had more buying power as the previous generation, like what happens now is that because we have so much government, the buying power for the poor is getting lower, and you're getting very late out of school because of all these quotas and subsidized school systems. And the men don't have an incentive to start a family early. In my experience, while I was like messing with women, is that if you tell a woman that you have stability and you want to give her kids, they also want it. Just I think most men don't do this because there's no structure in society for you to get out early with already a stable amount of money. Most people are going to college and getting in debt that they need to pursue their careers and etc.
I agree. I mean, look, you know, I was educated in the anarcho-capitalist framework, I guess you'd say. So like, I can see a real argument for something like anarcho-capitalism, but at the same time, like, you know, this idea that, you know, we have to charge people $200,000 to get a master's degree in, like, you know, baking cookies or whatever we're doing is obviously making, oh, that sucks he's left. But you know, obviously, like, that's not a good way to live and structure a society of, like,
we have to have women $200,000 in debt before they have a kid, plus $1 million in debt to buy their own home. So if they finally get divorced from their husband after 20 years of marriage, they're not destitute or whatever the scare tactics they're telling these young college girls. Like, if you go look at almost all of social media of any college educated woman, they're like, okay, I need to have a career. I need to have, my own home. I need to sign a prenup. I need to do, and again, like, I'm not saying that like it's not a reaction to something real. It is, but at the same time, it's like, no wonder society's falling apart when everybody's so paranoid about natural things that happen, like people, falling in love, having kids, getting married, having a place to live, know where their food is coming from the next, year or two, or how their kids are going to be educated. I mean, all these things are in flux, and it's just not sustainable, right?
So it's an economic issue then.
Well, economics is social engineering, in my personal opinion. So yeah, it is, but economics is now beyond economics, and economics is now dictating to us.
I
the future.
disagree. I disagree with the notion that there is some sort of puppeteer controlling things. But what
Well,
I would
it doesn't necessarily mean that there's like one person or one group of people, but certainly it's a feedback loop where all the data we put into it is now, being externalized back out into the public, and you can't deny that. I mean, it's undeniable that that's a function of the economic system we're in. I mean, we can get deep into it, but
some of the most responsible parenting that I've ever seen are from parents that are in between 28 to like 35 years old. And the reason I say that is I am currently 33 years old. And I come from a society or community where people were having kids at a young age, a lot of teenage pregnancies, and a lot of 20-year-olds having kids and all that. I've seen also an epidemic of single mothers, right? They're 21, they're 22, they're 23, they're 24.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Hold up. Beautiful women. Beautiful women. Hold up. Let me finish. Sheen, hold up. Hold up. I'm so glad that I did not end up in that situation. Why? Because I know for a fact that I was emotionally immature at that age, right? And I want kids. I want a wife. I want a stable home. I want all of that, right? But I know that I wasn't ready emotionally to maintain a relationship, because there's so much that you have to put into to maintain a relationship. It's not just enough to just come home with the check. There's a lot of maturity that involves, in which, for example, once I have a kid, I'm not thinking about myself anymore. I'm thinking about like that child and his outcome and his development and his success. So this is what I mean, where I don't mind people having kids at a little bit older age than 25. Why? Because that is at least you have a semblance of maturity. And I hope, and I truly hope for everyone that has kids and finds a partner, that they stay together to the end, at least till the kid turns 18, right? Because that will mean that you're giving that child the best chances of success in his life. And hopefully you stay together with your wife forever, right? I mean, that's the goal of marriage or whatever. But that's the thing. This is what I see around me everywhere: immaturity on both women. Women are very like they are also perpetrating.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to respond, but I don't know where you're trying to go with that. I mean, I don't really disagree with what you're saying, but I'll let
like
Kakage say something.
no one's saying like have kids out of wedlock. Like, I don't understand what you're even talking about or how it's relevant to the conversation.
Well, it's a societal issue, isn't it? I mean, why is it that in poverty you have a lot of like teenage pregnancies and 20-year-olds having kids and then breaking up and not having the emotional stability?
Let's see what Kakage has to say, because maybe maybe a
okay.
woman's intuition will help guide us in a better direction. I'm not being facetious. I actually mean that. So.
I think Eric has a point. I think a lot of us are learning from our aunties, our own mothers, and other females in our society that maybe found themselves at a more impoverished level in society because they had children, what we would consider too early, that they didn't have careers under their belts. I, for one, wanted to make sure that my career was sorted before I started a family. And I always had a plan B in play that if things didn't work out with my partner, that I would be able to financially support my children and my family, and not allow them to live in the society that I lived in growing up because family members broke up, etc. So I think there is like a learning curve, and I think Eric's quite right in that people are, like, both men and women and young boys and young girls are learning from their parents that, hang on, I need to make sure that I'm financially secure in a modern society before I start bringing children into it.
I mean, I have a response, but I'll let Sheen go first because I don't want to derail myself. So I'll let Sheen go first.
Yeah, I mean, all I have to say to that is, like, again, yeah, like, the economy, like, has made it very difficult to have children and essentially set your life up where you can have, well, I would consider like a nuclear family, like, dynamic, but like, it's still just the point still remains to me is, like, we have essentially incentivized women to work and prioritize career. And I mean, I think that's because of the, like, collapse and essentially, like, theist values. I think that's the main cause of this, just that the idea that everything's arbitrary, everything is subjective, anyone can do anything. Traditional rules are oppressive or something in that sense. It's like,
well,
things that I think are essentially the cause of the mistake.
I'll just try to bridge the gap between what both sides are saying, because I think both sides are important. So, like, in the sense, what she's saying is, like, it's as a woman, it is a dangerous proposition. Like, okay, and I know this from my own experiences when I was a kid. Like she's saying, like, we learn from our parents, right? Like, if you have kids and it doesn't work out, you don't have a career, it's a dangerous situation for a woman. But what Sheen is saying is, like, well, there used to be mechanisms where, like, a community would come around a couple and say, like, you guys cannot get divorced, or you have to work out the problems, or if things fall apart, there'll be something to pick up the pieces, right? Now, none of that exists. There's no honor in marriage. There's no honor among kids and families. There's no honor among the community. There's nothing like that, right? But also, here's the thing, a career is also just a faceless corporation for most people that will happily replace you with another person, an immigrant, a man, a woman, a child. It doesn't care. It's ambivalent to you because it's just whatever's the best for the profit, right? So either way you go, both sides, we're looking down the barrel of a antinatalist pew pew, I guess you'd say, right? Like, both sides of it doesn't want us to have kids, and so what do we do, right? I think that's what I'm trying to get at, right?
Well, I feel like what Kakich was referring to, and an important part of this, is the lessons that we learned from our parents, right? And unfortunately, some of us grew up in dysfunctional societies or communities where, again, like I said, like, I saw a lot of teenage pregnancies, divorces, internal domestic disputes, and all sorts of issues that come from poverty, for example. I agree with you, SV and Sheen, in the fact that, yes, the fact that the economics of today and how we can't afford to even buy a home, for example, and that we're stuck in situations where we see no way out of the renter situation, for example, or a way to actually settle down with a woman. Yes, of course, that has a huge factor in why people don't start families. I think that's a whole nother conversation to be had on economics in terms of why we're in the situation we're in right now as a world community. But I do agree with you, SV, that the answer does lie somewhere in between both arguments.
Well, and really quick, I'll say this really briefly. I heard somebody say this recently, and I think it's just a good argument to start at with this. And again, this is not anti-woman. It's not anti-woman having jobs or anything like that. Although there is a conversation to be had about it. Here's what I'd say, right? If the average woman out of college is having a job that pays $100,000 a year, and then most men are working blue collar jobs and make like 60 to 80 at best on average, maybe 120 if they're really lucky, right? most women want to marry up. They don't want to marry down in status or money. And again, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, or in general, there's always some sort of like, practical exchange in marriage. It wasn't just only about love, and it wasn't only about money. It was some combination of like convenience and happiness and love, and a lot of different factors always went into this stuff, right? But now the proposition is that, well, you have to maintain a high-powered career, have kids, buy a $500,000 house, buy a $100,000 car every 3 to 5 years. Everybody's on a treadmill of status and all these things, and a lot of people just say that, well, that's just materialism, but really it's not. I mean, it's just that we're still living a tribal existence. We're just living it in a very high-tech kind of like, I don't want to say slavery, but we're kind of living in a corporate, tenant farmer kind of existence where we're just kind of like barely paying the rent to like live a pseudo tribal lifestyle of like status and money and all these things. And like, of course, it's a very complicated thing that we're not really biologically set up to really function in, right? And so that's kind of where I'm coming from, where it's like, we're telling all the women in the world, like I've been to third world countries too, and like, they're telling these people who live in a village, like, just become a super educated person and you'll be a doctor in some city far away. Well, then you go back to the village 10 years later and it's all like 65-year-old people and like a few kids here and there, but there's not, like, everything's falling apart because everybody's leaving to go live in the city and nobody's building where they're from, right? So, it's kind of leading to dysfunction. And then all the people in the cities don't have kids. And if they do, they get divorced because they need to maintain their status of their career and all this. So it's just a lot of social calculations that people have to make. And I think that's just a very, unhealthy way to live as a human being, much less, anything else. I mean,
may I weigh in here? Okay, I appreciate that. So I have a few things to say. One of the things I have to say is that it's been proven that when women in African tribes, right, are given a little bit of money and birth control, right? So they're not enslaved to having children, and they have autonomy over their body, and they get like $150, right? They then they start these they start little cottage industries. And when they do that, the entire village benefits. The entire village becomes wealthy, more wealthy than they were. When women are not enslaved by their ovaries and their uterus, they flourish and they raise the floor.
Well, the key word is
overall.
flourish. What does that mean, to flourish? What does that mean to you?
It's true because I've seen these studies and I've seen these.
Let her define what flourish means before we continue. What does that mean?
Monetarily.
Okay, so hold on. So you're saying that the value of a woman's existence is monetary?
No. What she's saying is that
don't speak for her.
No.
Hold on.
I'm not speaking for her. I am presenting evidence. I am presenting evidence that is lateral to her argument.
Just wait for a
Eric,
second.
don't mansplain.
Let her explain what she means. Let her explain what she means, please.
What I'm saying is, when a woman has autonomy and has control over her reproductive system and has a little bit of money and she can start her own cottage industry, she makes money and it raises the entire level of her village.
Economically,
I
can agree in some sense. Okay, because I've been to a country that's very similar to this. I'm not going to name it; it's unimportant. So I've seen this before, right? But the other side of it is this, right? Where then you have a bunch of disaffected males who have no direction. They just kind of sleep around. the kids grow up without having a dad, and there's other social consequences. So like, how can you deny that that's a part of the equation, right?
Wait, a woman's success automatically means that men are laying around and they're disassociated and they fail because a woman succeeds? That's what you just said.
Well, I'm not saying. Hold on. I'm not
That's what
saying
you
like
just
I'm not.
said.
Listen, I'm not talking about 500 to 1,000 years ago when we're living in an agrarian lifestyle. We're living in a global economy.
I'm
So, like,
reacting to what you said.
sure,
I'm
but
reacting to what
but
you
I'm saying,
said.
like, do you agree that there's a difference between a woman sewing silk, 500 or 1,000 years ago versus she's sewing silk today?
No.
And trading it in the city for money so she can buy all the things she needs for her
What's
little.
the difference? It's industry.
Okay,
And
so there's
her
no
personal
hold on.
autonomy.
So there's no difference between 1,000 years ago and today. Is that what you're telling me?
You're making this so simplistic and so ridiculous. I'm trying to give you a really
That's you.
a true statement, and it should impact you, and you should be thoughtful about it. That if women can have control over their biology, which the Catholic Church has stopped them from doing, right, for a couple thousand years. If women can stop having children and just do a job, have a career, it not only benefits them and their family, it benefits their entire village, their
Right.
entire community.
But
And
if
that's
everybody
been
stops having
proven.
kids, there won't be any people. So then nobody's going to have to
We
worry
didn't
about that.
stop. I never said stop having kids, but men have been suppressing women for thousands of years.
Well, I
using the
have bad
Bible.
news for you. Women have been suppressing women for thousands of years. Did you know that?
Men have been suppressing women for
So
thousands.
women never, ever,
because
ever
you guys
undercut
have
each other,
bigger
right?
muscles.
Women never undercut each other, right?
Don't blame women for
We have a
doing that.
new
You've done that.
We have a new person on
Men
the
have
panel.
done that.
Scooty, do you
No, I
want
just want to make sure that this is a clear point. Are you saying women never screw each other over for any reason?
Are you saying that men have never screwed women over?
both are true? Can we move on?
Hi, Eric.
Scooty,
Thank you for that.
Scooty, do you want to add?
Let's be honest. Let's
Do you
be
want
honest
do you want me to do the
about
like
history.
I'm 40?
Let's be honest about history.
Hold up, hello. Let's move on. Scooty, what did you say?
Did you want me to do the I'm 40 and I'm from Nevada?
Yeah, that's fine. What do you think about the I guess the topic at hand, I guess?
I'm like specifically their issue or the prompts issue.
You could do either actually.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that bothers me is that they're saying suppress when it's oppress. And men have not been oppressing women for thousands of years. That's just
That's
not
not
the
true.
case.
They have been.
Men and women have been greatly living very much well together and supporting
You're
each
not
other.
you
And
don't know
do some
history.
men
You don't know
oppress some
history.
women? Yes, of course. And they're terrible, and that shouldn't happen. But in large, we live pretty well together.
Not true.
Okay, where is that not true?
You obviously don't know anything about history if you think that women have always been pretty much treated equally. It's not true.
Well, actually,
Everyone
that's
suffered
not my claim. Is
historically. Gender is irrelevant.
well, it's not.
Gender is not irrelevant.
And Hilo,
Gender
Hilo,
is
that wasn't my
relevant.
claim, miss.
Absolutely is.
Hilo, that wasn't my claim. I was saying that men have not been oppressing women.
Yes, they have. Yes, they
okay.
have.
Okay, that's how you feel. That's fine. But
Just read any history book ever, and you'll see it. Any history book ever, by any group ever. I don't care what country it's from.
What do you mean by
Read
oppression?
any history book.
What do you mean
These
by
are all
oppression
really
then?
big claims. There's a lot of history books and a lot of history. Could you help me like refine my query or search and give me a specific example?
Okay, I'm gonna make it be in my lifetime, but it's been thousands of years. But I'm going to shorten it to my lifetime. In my lifetime, women couldn't have a credit card without a man signing it off for her.
Okay.
Okay, in my lifetime, a woman couldn't have a mortgage without a man signing it off for her.
Okay.
In my
I love-
mother's lifetime, women couldn't vote.
No wonder a house is 500,000 on average in every metropolitan area.
Don't blame women for that. That's not even funny. You asked
Could I
me a
just ask
question,
really
and I'm
quick?
answering you.
How's that oppression?
All right, we got Joey on the
How
panel.
is it not oppression?
All right,
How
let's
would
move
you
on.
like it if I told you? How would you like it if I told you you can't have a credit card unless I say you can?
We got
That's
Joey.
oppression.
We got one Joey on the panel. Let's see what Joey's got to say about this.
Oh.
Yeah, quick thing on the whole, like we couldn't have credit cards and we couldn't get mortgages. That's incorrect. If you had income,
No, it's
you
not.
Could,
You're
please
a
let me-
man
please
and you
let me
don't know what you're
Hold on,
talking about.
Hilo. I agree with things that you say, Hilo, but let him finish.
Yeah. It was a matter of, do they have income? Women could own property
Dude.
since the please
Hold up,
let me
Hilo.
finish.
Hold up, Hilo.
Since the 1880s, women could own property. If you came from a rich family and you had assets and income, you could definitely get a mortgage. You could definitely get a credit card, but most women didn't work. So no, a bank is not going to give you a loan or a mortgage if you have zero income.
Women weren't allowed to work.
why did
Women were
women
not
not work?
legally allowed to
Yeah.
work. We weren't
Joey,
allowed
I
to
love you,
work.
bro, but you're kind of
We
wrong.
weren't allowed to
women
own
not work?
property. We weren't allowed to have a bank account. We
Whoa.
weren't allowed to do a lot of things until this century.
Until
And the
the
fact that you don't know
1930s.
that and then you're arguing is really
So
sad.
listen,
My grandmother
You don't
worked
know
in the
anything about
1930s.
history.
Hold on,
She had a
Hilo.
job.
I can
Work,
clean
you
this up
just
for you guys
don't-
if
you
you'd
just
like.
don't know what you're talking about, Hilo.
If
I
that, wait,
guess
wait,
I
hold on.
do.
Let's
Yes, I
let's
do.
no. Listen, she's right about some things, and I'll give her the credit. But listen, here's my point. I'm trying to make to you, Hilo. Listen, if you're correct about everything that you're saying, it's just very insulting to me as a man that you're saying that all women's value goes down to whether or not they can have a job or a credit card. Like that's very insulting to me that you would say that about women.
Value? How would I? Why on earth would you think that that's what I would think that a woman's value is? I think women's value is so deep and intrinsic.
Because everything you're talking about boils down to like
Material.
economics.
It's all material.
I'm talking about society. I'm not talking about women's value. Our value is way more deep and intrinsic.
And you think that men don't know that?
Even
You
know.
think that men don't know that?
So I think this is.
I don't think you do. I don't think we know
well,
that.
could I please illustrate this? Why I think you're incorrect on that? Like honestly, so even if and I liked what the gentleman was saying about if you were correct about all of that. And I disagree. Joey, who's usually quite smart, is wrong about this. Yeah, the credit card thing is mostly true. The property thing is not. Women own property from the 1400s on. Actually,
my mother couldn't own a house.
now if I
unless
could just
my
finish kind of what I'm
father
saying.
Put his signature on it. I
but-
lived through it.
but- so what you're saying-
I'm old. I've
what-
lived through it. You guys
All
don't
right.
think I don't know. I lived
Okay, well,
through it.
Sure, and listen, and even again, if that was true,
It
and
is
you see that as
true.
oppression, okay?
It
If you believe that's oppression, okay, I disagree with that, and we can get into it. But
Okay, if I
at the end of the
told you-
day, if you believe that's oppression, okay,
is it oppression?
why like
If I told
why don't
you-
you
if I
why don't you
told
change
you-
it?
If I told you, hey, dude,
Why don't you
you
change
can't
it?
own a farm, you can't own a horse, you can't own a car, you can't own a car.
Well, that is
you can't own
effectively
anything
like
else
how
unless
it's
I
going in
tell
America
you
soon.
You would think
so-
it's oppression.
No,
If
but
it
how low?
happened to you, you would think it's oppression. But because
No.
it happens to women, you think it's fine.
Well,
But
I'd
if it
like
happens
to.
to you,
Okay,
it's
so
oppression.
I'd like to
You didn't
pivot
let
this
me finish
conversation.
what I was saying.
I'd like to pivot this conversation away from a gender kind of
Well,
narrative to a
why?
She does. She is the
hold
one
up, hold
too.
up, hold up, hold up, hold up.
Why do you want to do that though?
Because
why would you do that?
Let's hear her roar. I want to hear this woman roar.
Right, but it's mind numbing. And in terms of economics, someone mentioned of basically it was rich women that were able to own property. It was rich
No,
women that
I didn't mention rich at all.
yeah, someone said wealthy. Someone actually said
okay,
wealthy.
but please
Right.
don't do this, Eric. Every time you do this,
Yeah,
you're just
dude,
like, let's
Eric,
get into some factoid or something.
Why are you shutting off the conversation?
It was
That was
usually
Joey.
before the act came in. I think it was in the 1920s. A new act came in that said that even married women were able to keep their owned property. So quite often, women who did own property usually inherited it from their parents because there were no sons in the family. Then when they got married, the husband would take on that property. They would take control of that property when they got married until around the 1920s. I forget, I don't know the date offhand, but the 1920s created a new act in the UK that I know. I don't know about the rest of the world.
You're correct.
Where it allowed married women to keep hold of their earned property from, their inherited property. But if you want to talk about oppression, there's many other factors like forced marriage, restriction in education, gender-based violence, lower wages.
Let me just ask one question on this subject, because I understand where you guys are coming from. I genuinely do get what you guys are saying. I think I'm not a woman, obviously, but do you think that the ideals that you now believe in would have been possible for you to conceive of without all this technology and all this stuff going on? Like, if technology and everything went away tomorrow, would the things that you believe still be even possible?
Of course.
Functionally.
You're so that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. And I have been married to an idiot. I can't believe you said that.
No, I can see where he's saying though. I can see what SV's saying though.
It's an argument that they don't understand though.
Lord.
I can see what SV's saying in the sense that technology is the catalyst to social change, especially when it comes to gender equality and gender opportunity.
What does that have to do with women's equal rights?
Because women are not equal to men, lady.
And women largely didn't even want. There was a huge anti-suffragette movement. They didn't largely want these rights.
There's nothing equal about us.
I wish men would understand what women. Okay, I'm going to give you an example of what it's like to be a woman. Okay, give me a minute.
You never have to be homeless.
This is a man.
You get given everything from the age of 18.
Okay, wait. If you were walking down the street and you had like $50,000 in cash in a bag on you, and you were walking down the street,
or you were a virgin,
would you feel scared?
No. What are you talking about?
Women feel like that every single minute that they're walking around the world.
So why do they keep throwing that $50,000
my 85-year-old grandma is afraid that she's going to get jumped on by a bunch of guys.
84-year-old grandmothers have been raped and murdered. Don't think that hasn't happened.
Miss, can I just ask you, do you believe that civilization is created so that we can? There's people that are strong and people that are weak, but ultimately we all kind of agree and kind of sign a social contract in civilization so that can be spread and equalized amongst the strong and the weak to a certain degree. But that there are duties, there are duties kind of in that. And now with that, men, by and large, because men are the ones that can enforce this, have created a society where you can actually walk outside safely.
We can't.
Do you understand that without us, you wouldn't be able to do that? So this idea of oppression is insane. You're actually put into a position of privilege.
Women don't walk outside.
Yeah, it's due to men's benevolence that you even have all these rights. He's completely correct.
Do you not understand?
I don't think that is
Women
correct.
don't walk outside.
First of all, we mentioned the social contract theory.
Who gives?
We mentioned the social contract theory. Whose social contract are you operating under?
Societies.
Yeah.
Men are so.
You're saying societies. But that doesn't really answer the question, because there's a number of different thinkers who have different concepts of social contract. Could you be a little bit more specific, please?
Yeah. Why? What?
What social
I am
contract
muting
theory?
you so he can finish.
Being muted while we're having a conversation.
Because the host is talking and you're all
Yeah,
speaking
thanks,
over him.
Kakis. But him and I were the ones going back and forth.
Just let him finish.
Which social contract theory exactly?
So-
Because you keep saying like society, but this
Right.
is just categorically true of every thinker's.
Well, that's not what I said.
necessitated.
What I said specifically was that society and actually getting into society and agreeing to that social contract is essentially the idea that there are very strong people and weak people. However, overall, as a collective, we're agreeing to a social contract where all of us get to exercise some sort of level of rights that are equal amongst us. That is effectively what society is in the social contract that is there. And then we form governments, countries, and all of these types of things where then we vote and fucking argue over what is right in the details. But ultimately,